Yo, 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 in a bottle of rum. What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of SLS featuring MM2K. I am the MM2K from TWoS Network and StadiaDosage. All right, we're going to have a hell of a show for you today. We're going to have a better show for you when I can put up the daggone title of the show. SLS featuring MM2K. There we go. We got it up there. Now we're going to do it. I am again MM2K of TWoS Network and StadiaDosage here with another SLS featuring MM2K. That is our open mic session where we talk with you, the community, about what's going on in the latest and greatest in Stadia news. If you could do us a huge favor, tweet us out. Let everybody know that we're live, man. We're live, baby. We're alive. All right. Number 5 is alive. For some reason, I'm not popping up here. What's going on here? What is going on? Am I in the wrong chat? So I'm not popping up on the main screen. Can y'all hear me okay? Also, I don't have any music playing, but I'm about to change that right now. All right, y'all should hear that. Let me know how the music is, if y'all need me to turn it off or any of that stuff. Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong channel. I thought I was in here. Where? Yeah. Okay, now y'all can see my avatar and all that great stuff. So shout out to everybody. Good to see y'all. Hey, look, man. I don't know if any of you guys are sports fans out there. I'm ecstatic. I've been worried. I've been watching these NBA, this National Basketball Association finals, and my Golden State Warriors. They were making me scared for a little bit. But they finally taken a 3-2 lead. All they got to do is win one more. If my homie Ray is in the house, he's gonna be rooting with me. Now, some of you may hear that and say, "Hold on, I thought you was with the Brooklyn Nets." Don't worry about that. Y'all thinking too deep. Don't even worry about what's happened in the past. Right now, I'm with the Golden State Warriors. That's all you need to worry about. Okay, so I'm hoping my Warriors pull it out. Shout out to everybody. How's everything going? Shout out, man. We got some. We have some good news. We couldn't deny that there's been a law, right, with Stadia stuff. We warned everybody about that late last year, and we just followed up based upon what Stadia said last year. They said they're putting their heads down and they're working hard to get the games that we want. I think we weren't listening last year, or we derived at our own notion of what that meant. And you know what, to be honest with you, I was part of that at first, but we quickly corrected course. When we heard that SG&E was closing, we just thought that meant that they were going to take those funds, like everybody did, take those funds and buy new games. Buying games as a 1% business is not sustainable. It's not. And we have some journo friends that have some difficulty understanding that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it's not sustainable. That's why nobody else is buying games to put in the cloud. Nobody else is doing it. GFN's not doing it. And to GFN's credit, they've been throwing some bangers out there. I mean, if the platform isn't for you, if you don't like it, that's one thing. Because I can relate. But one thing you can't deny is that GFN ain't been putting some bangers out there. And then even during this drought that we're going to have of AAA content, it seems like that they're going to leverage the partnership with EA and still give you some classic bangers. That's a hell of a thing. But they're not paying for those. GFN has made it very clear, we're not paying for these. And that's rightfully so. It's only a 1% business. Stadia was the only one paying for them. xCloud, they're not paying for these games to be on the cloud. The argument is, look, there's gamers out there They may not be huge, but they're growing. There's gamers out there that know about cloud gaming, that want access to your games, but they don't have the money or the wherewithal to get the hardware or even the time to do it on the hardware because of installs and stuff like that. So we're bringing your game to more gamers. We're not asking you to add any more development. We're not asking you to do anything extra, but just allow us to flip the switch or turn the key. That's Stadia's turn. Turn the key, put the game on the on our cloud platform. Will you allow it? And people are like, yeah, why not? xCloud, why not GFN? Stadia's proposal is, look, we're a 1% business. And we're going to get to 1 million. This is their proposal for 2019 and 2020. We're going to get to 1 million, right? Now look, got this development process. It's cumbersome, but it's going to be worth your while because you'll be part of this emerging market, and we're going to be ahead of the curve because we're going to have 1 million active users by the end of 2020. So, all right, here goes some money up front, because we know this is going to take some time. We're taking away valuable time to develop for this. But so here's some money up front, but trust us, it's going to be worth your while. And for the time that had to be put into it, it wasn't. There's no denying that. They didn't get to 1 million active users, and they didn't even get close until December of that year. So it wasn't like they were incrementally going up and staying up. The first month maybe was 250, and by mid-month they were at 500 consistently, and then they were rising up from 600, 700. No. Started off minimal. They saw a 1,000% increase in a month, a 1,700% increase in the month of April, right? But that wasn't sustained. Went back down, and then it was gradually going up slowly. But it really didn't even get 3/4 of the way close until December. So they had to change their strategy. They said, look, we can no longer utilize this tagline of we're going to have 1 million active users and we're going to keep them consistently and all this other. We can't use that because it ain't happened. We're stuck in the 1% realm like anybody else. We're not going to be able to leapfrog this right now. So, but we still got to get these games. So we got to get the development part together. 2021, they decided to get the development together and they start putting money into that. So they're making investment of that, raising the priority of Stadia altogether. Now, and this is not information that I'm guessing on or I'm giving you conjecture. This is frontline information I got from those on the front line. Right? Remember, because we basically told you about the keynote before they told you about the keynote. And then, what they said around that time too is they said, look, we're going to put our heads down and we're going to do the hard work. We're going to go get these games. So that's going to, being that porting is behind getting those games and the porting getting formalized and streamlined is behind that. It's going to take some time. You got to look at Xbox. Xbox, a mainstream platform that promised people, look, the most powerful console in the world, $500, right? That's why their past play was polarizing. I get it. There's people that loved it, but there was also people that loathed it. I think general consensus is somewhere in the middle, like, man, nah. But people are disappointed with the man because they were really looking for Xbox to show that they got blockbuster stuff coming. They got a pedigree of look, we're going to give you great content. We're not just going to give you a lot of content. We're going to give you great content. And that's important to the gamers who make up the general gamer that only buys 2 games a year and only has 7 games in their catalog during a platform's life cycle. And again, that's not from me. That's from Daniel Ahmad of Nico Group and other analysts that have been giving you those numbers since 2013. So because of that, even Xbox, with throwing everything but the kitchen sink out there, giving you Game Pass and showing you what they were bringing in 12 months and showing you they got a little bit of everybody, You even have major Xbox creators, Kid Smooth and others, that went out there and were like, if I was flown to LA for that, I'd be disappointed because they want big bang stuff. And I get it. We as, the cloud demographic, the ones that, I mean, for lack of a better term, we like getting those scraps like Fido, we like when the scraps fall on the floor. That's great to us. It was great to us. But I'm just giving you a taste of what it takes to be on the mainstream, okay? And our likes here in the 1% business world, we're not moving anything. We're not moving the needle nowhere. It's all about what's happening on the mainstream, what's happening on Main Street. Main Street was mad about that, and they didn't like that. I think another opinion that was pivotal was David Jaffe. Shout out to David Jaffe, the creator of God of War. Someone who I really like. I don't agree with him all the time, but I like him. I like him as I've gotten to know him personally because of a couple of shows that we did together on Broadband Bullies, and then me interacting with him back and forth on Twitter. I like his personality. I like him as a person. I may not agree with him all the time. We've had several spats about, and just comical spats about Game Pass. He's a staunch believer in Game Pass. If you think I'm just sitting there trying to be mean to Xbox because of xCloud, go watch what he has to say about it. That just lets you know the time warp difference between us here in the 1% who like the Fido scraps and those that are in the Main Street that are paying top dollar for games, for services, and they expect more. Okay. You know what I mean? So and I brought all that up, not to dog Xbox, but to tell you that with all that pressure and all that interaction, and it's not like Xbox is resting on their laurels. They're trying to do stuff the best way they know how to do it. The question is, the way they know how to do it, is it effective? But that's a whole other podcast. But they're trying to do stuff. They're doing things, right? That being said, they have a lot of pressure on them. They're acting to that pressure, and they're still falling short because their tools aren't all the way there. They were making these big promises, 40 to 50 frame deltas. But when you combine us, when we go to this mode, it's actually 40 teraflops. Remember that? I can't remember who said that. Somebody on their engineering team said, no, I mean, we're saying it's 12 teraflops, but when you add the ray tracing mode, it's actually 40 teraflops. And they're splitting hairs with the weaker, quote unquote, PlayStation 5 on the latest games. And I'm not saying that to dog them. I'm saying that to say that even when you're trying as hard as you can with all the resources and the partnerships that Microsoft has and doing this for decades, it's not easy to get your tools together in the middle of trying to, get games. So they're trying to get their tools together. So Stadia is doing that as well. And I'm quite impressed from what I've heard from sources that the majority of people will begin getting these tools in their hands by the end of this year. That's a pretty quick turnaround from summer of last year. So we'll see as this tool set expands and as people, as it gets better and it gets easier to develop for the platform and more turnkey, we'll see what we get. But while we're waiting for all that to come to fruition, there's still some promising signs and some good stuff. We're going to talk about this week on Stadia. We're going to talk about Resident Evil. And then we're also going to talk about this op-ed. Interesting op-ed that I just want to run through with you guys and gals, get your thoughts on it, and see, see where you guys stand with all this, right? Okay. All right. With that said, let's shout out everybody in the chat. I think we got a good crowd here, so let's definitely shout you out. You guys are fantastic. We got Victor Del Maestro in the house. He says, hiya. We got Dusty Aran in the house. He says, yo. Hold on, let me do something here. This over just a little bit. What is this? Oh, I was looking at the sales. I'll leave that up because I was looking at the sales. All right, and then we'll leave that right there. We'll move this over so it's easier for me to see what's going on. We got Dude Games Live. What are they talking about today, he says. What up, peeps, says Geek to Sneak. What's up, said Bulls for Life. Still chilling. Hello, everybody. Ron Slusher, Stadia Cell taking all my money today. Okay, Johnny 5 says Dude Games Live. You're good. I have some hard questions for the Stadia fans, says Dude Games Live. All right, bring them on, brother. If the Warriors lose, won't be surprised. Don't say that, man. I'd hate for it to happen. Don't say that. They got lucky Celtic Brown. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, they did go cold. Yeah, they were 0 for 12 at one point in time in threes. I think that's what hurt them. Did someone say sale? And now your mama knows, says what's going on, peoples. Thought about asking my question, said Dude Games Live. Stadia even has more job listings out there. Oh, okay. All right. If you got a tweet, if you got a link to that, Dusty, put that here in the chat. Xbox is absolutely paying for third party. No. Pure platinum, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about paying for games to be in the cloud. Nobody's paying for games to be in the cloud but Stadia. Like the deals that they're making with Game Pass have nothing to do with the activity that's on the cloud. And they broke this down. Phil Spencer broke this down 2 years ago to where their teams, Kareem Chaudhry and company's teams, they're basically just building the infrastructure. They're asking developers to be cognizant of certain things like menu, font size and stuff like that. They're asking them to be cognizant of certain things, but they're not paying for any conversion to the cloud. It's either you want to do it or you don't. And if you don't, or if you want money for it, then they just ain't doing it. They're not paying for it. So I get that xCloud is being bundled in with Game Pass, but those conversations that are being had in regards to the cloud, that's not bundled. All right. So he says, yes, they are. No. Who's paying for it? Tell me and show me an example of who's paying for games in the cloud. Give me a link. Give me an example. Because if you're new here, let me introduce you to the rules of the House of Stadia. I don't mind people asking questions. I don't even mind people not knowing things, but we don't talk absolutists here without facts. This isn't one of those shows. Trust, I have a lineage of being on shows and have a background of being on shows where people will say things in a debate forum as a matter of fact, just to win a debate. That's entertainment. And we like to entertain here, but at the end of the day, this is a fact-finding forum. So we don't do that here. If you're going to speak absolutists, then I'm going to pull you out of the chat and I might focus on you 10, 15, 20 minutes. The chat will let you know. That's how things go down here. So don't say yes it is or whatever in definitive terms without proof. I need a link. Provide me a link. Yeah, Dusty, you're right. That he's got it right. Top to go in Game Pass they're paying. Exactly. True. Game Pass include you're bundling two situations here. Xbox is choosing only to put Game Pass games on the cloud because Game Pass games don't necessarily have a SKU. Again, this is why y'all got to get acclimated to people like Daniel Lamar, Nico Group, all that stuff. Daniel Lamar told you that Xbox, in its attempt later this year to give you a la carte games. It's their negotiating with developers and publishers to consider cloud distribution and hardware distribution as the same SKU. What does that mean? Right now, why Xbox is not giving you games in the cloud that are not in Game Pass is because the big time developers and publishers consider cloud distribution another SKU, another scan code. So they're like, if you're going to offer this in the cloud, you can't give them access to, let's say, Resident Evil Village in the cloud just because they bought it for a console. That's a completely different platform we consider, and that's a completely different SKU. So if they want access to your xCloud platform, we want them to pay for it again. That's how a lot of these publishers are looking at it. Think of like hard copy books and an audio version. Just because I go into Barnes and Nobles, I don't even know if Barnes and Nobles is still around. Just because I go into Barnes and Nobles and buy Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Blood, Sweat and Pixels hardback, don't mean that I can walk in the store the next day and say, okay, give me your audio copy. Here goes my hard copy version. It doesn't work like that. So xCloud, what they're doing is, because there's no SKUs involved with Game Pass, it's a subscription service, so you're not giving anybody a license for purchase. There's no SKU involved. They can put those games on the cloud, but that has nothing to do with them paying for that cloud access. Anything that's given access to the cloud, Phil Spencer and company already broke this down. They're just going to companies. They're asking them if it's okay to put it in the cloud. And then if they say okay, they're just flipping the switch. So they're not paying for anything to go in the cloud. Not at all. Nobody else but Stadia is paying for games to go in the cloud. And that's not a bad thing. It's a smart thing. It's a 1% business. You shouldn't be paying for games to come in the cloud. So I'm actually being positive about Xbox about this. That's smart. It says they are, as of this year, sir, was announced the other day. Where's the link? Now I'm gonna tell you what, this is what we're gonna do. Do Games Live. I'm gonna temporarily make you a moderator so you can drop a link. Here's how we do. I don't deal with spam questions and people coming up in here trying to distort the house of Stadia. I need you to find that link so we can play it live on air, or you're being timed out. It's as simple as that. You got to get the rules of the House of Stadia chat. Ordain my brother do Games Live. We don't find that link. I want that quote. Or timeout, where you go. All right? No, find it. Find it. You're definitive about it. Find the link. Because I've watched everything that Xbox has presented. No, do Games Live. No, they did not say any game. They said select games. Lord Jesus Christ. Here, let me do this before I put you in timeout. Xbox finding games. Xbox or xCloud. Xbox Cloud allowing games outside of Game Pass. Lord Jesus Christ, we done found one, y'all. All right, here we go. The Verge. And you know how we do. Let me show you something. Xbox Cloud Gaming will support your game library later this year. Some of the games you own are coming to xCloud. Microsoft is planning to bring a lot more games to Xbox Cloud later this year, allowing Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers to stream some of their own game library. We're excited to share that later this year, It's our intent to roll out the ability for Game Pass members to play from the cloud select games they already own or purchase outside of the library. Select games. Here's what you just said. You can buy any game and it will be available on the cloud. Dude's game. You're in timeout. I warned you. We've been live for 29 minutes. Half of that time, I warned this guy, don't come here with conjecture. Talking about I got questions and you taking over my chat. We welcome you here, but you gotta state the facts. They said select games. Did I not tell you that? This is a fact-finding forum here. This is not a barbershop. This is not a golf course. We talk in facts here. So if you want the time of the House of Stadia, if you want to disrupt the people from being ordained, you better come with the facts, or you got to go to confession. When you come out of confession, we'll forgive you, my son. All right. We'll continue on. I love Stadia, but people need to understand how things work. Things come out and sometimes don't keep. I don't even know what that means. And I'm not even reading any more of your comments till you come out of timeout. They're still focusing on hardware at the moment. Games don't matter when performance is trash. Here's the thing, y'all. And this is a new thing that we have to do here, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is the summer. And because it's the summer, I want to play some games. So let's not spend 6-7 hours here dealing with trolls. If people don't come with the facts, just ignore them. Just say MM2K, bring them to the pulpit. Bring this one to the pulpit, and I'll bring them to the pulpit. And if they don't come through with the facts, then they're getting timed out. Don't even worry about them. All right. So let's continue on. Good vibes, says Wilson. Good to see you, my friend. What else we got here? We got our good brother Amador. He says Stadia is dead. That's 100% absolute. Now, we give my brother Amador a pass. Amador's the only one. And Deacon, we give Deacon Amador a pass. He's a mighty benefactor to the churches of Stadia. So if you ain't Deacon Amador, don't come walking into the congregation with that trash. But Deacon Amador, he gets to slide with that trash. And your mama knows says Xbox did have an article that stated you can play some of your old games via the cloud, but you have to have Game Pass. Yeah, that's what I'm not. The problem is it was being stated that it was all of them. No, and it says select games, as we have highlighted on the screen. We don't know what those select games are going to be. We don't know if those select games are going to be old 360 games. We don't know if they're going to be some call. We have no idea what they are. Am I going to be able to play, if I bought Resident Evil Village on Xbox, am I going to be able to play that in the cloud? That's the stuff that people want to know. Elden Ring. They said select games, so we'll have to see. Again, it's all about, as Daniel Lamad put it, it's all about people being convinced to allow the cloud SKU and the dedicated hardware SKU to be the same thing. A lot of publishers are saying no. Or they might say okay to some of their older stuff. Or it might just be older Xbox stuff or stuff that left Game Pass. Or it might be a bunch of indie games. We don't know. Until we find out, then we only can deal with the cold hard facts. And all we know right now is select games they already own or have purchased outside of Game Pass library. We don't know what that means. Until we find out what that means, that's what it is. So don't just assume you're playing Elden Ring and NBA 2K23. No, so we don't know what these select games are. And we got to be very cautious because again, that's why you don't see Take-Two and Capcom on GFN. That's why it took a while for EA to get on GFN, and they're only giving their back catalog. It doesn't cost them anything to let GFN give them access. It's just that these developers think that these are different SKUs, and they want more money for the delivery of these systems, unless maybe if it's backlog items like in EA's case with GFN or whatever the case may be. But y'all got to understand that battle that's going on right here. And don't take it from me, because sometimes I just act as the catalyst just to try to get y'all acclimated to the mainstream. Look, I'm going to put it to y'all like this. Y'all are not ready. We'll just give y'all the cold hard facts here. Y'all are not ready for mainstream game conversations if y'all don't know who the mainstream sources are. So even while I'm live right now, go look for Daniel Lamar, Z Huge. And go follow him right now. He has a blue check mark. Let me give you a hint. I told y'all Matt Piscatella when y'all was tee-hee-heeing about MPD. If y'all don't know who these people are, it's like not going through the syllabus or doing your homework before coming to the college course. If you ain't done your homework, then you're going to be lost in these conversations. So y'all got to understand, the struggle that's happening right now is that these cloud platforms that also have a hardware component that they're tethering off of, they're trying to convince game publishers that, look, allow this to just be one SKU. And a lot of them are like, nah, this is being on the cloud is different, son. That's why Stadia doesn't have any problems, because it's not tethered to anything. And Amazon, in the same token, it's not tethered to the PC experience. It's its own separate unilateral platform. So is Luna. So your only option is to buy it in the cloud. That's why they go through an extensive porting process that at first is just cumbersome, but they got to dwindle down the porting to make sure that everything is okay. But that's where we're at. I thought you didn't need Game Pass, but I was wrong. Yeah, you got to have Game Pass Ultimate. The Game Vault, we got another one. The Game Vault says, like to hear your own voice, huh? You can laugh all you want. Not a troll. If it wasn't true, you could have just said instead of being a blink, plain and simple. And still laughing like I'm not here. Ooh, I love when they get mad in here and start pulling out their sock accounts or whatever. Hey everyone, the man from Uncle in the house, old dirty blasters. Shout out to the man from Uncle. Aminor says, hey MM2K, I finally started playing Division 2. Pretty good game from Ubisoft. Hey yo, Aminor, what's up, brother? What are you playing on? And you playing on PlayStation 5 or you playing on PC? Let me know. Chatting today, ain't they? Now that's so funny. I love this. Hold on. You like to hear your own voice, huh? You can laugh all you want. Already out. Not a troll. If it wasn't true, you could have had just said it without being a bleep. Plain and simple. Oh shit. I can't breathe. Woo. Some people's kids, baby. Oh God. Still better than most platforms at the moment. Yo, my brother Dr. Stream X, what's up, brother? Yo, what up, chat? We will see what games. We know you're here, DG. You know, what's up, Dr. Stream X? People make mistakes. Oh man. Hey yo, shut your ass up. Get your ass out of here before I tire you out too. Don't come in the church, don't come in the house of Stadia with that trash. There ain't nothing but trash. People make mistakes. There ain't no damn after school special. Shut your ass up and sit in the back. Oh man, these cats is killing me today. Anyway, can we get to the topics today? Golly, we can't even get to the topics because these mugs is super extra today. Let's get to the topics, y'all. Sit your ass down and sit in the back. The trash. All right, here we go. All right, y'all, so let's get to it. This week on Stadia, Resident Evil Village, and Stadia oh, golly, that's all out of whack. Holy Jesus. Golly, let's see if we can fix some of this. Holy cow. Position. Excuse me, give me a second. Jesus. All right. And then let's go to this one. Woo. Position. Oh, what did I do? Oh. I need to bring it back first before I can adjust it. All right. And that ain't working. Let's bring it back. All right. And then here's what I got to do. I got to edit this. Oh no. We got to change the theme to this. We're going to close that there. Yes, y'all are watching the sausage being made live. Come on. And then we going to change the theme here. Great. All right. That looks a little bit better. All right, y'all. So we got it. Okay. So we're going to talk about this week on Stadia first. Let me do this. Let me go back here to the social tab because y'all are killing me today, man. Oh, let me see. I'm done battling with people, says Dusty Iran. We got Ray. Our Warriors pulled it out, baby. Ray's like, our? He's like, huh? Yeah, our Warriors pulled it out. How Jeff G feel about that? I asked Jeff G to come on the show tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into that a little bit. I asked Jeff G to come on the show tomorrow, so I'm gonna make fun of him for you. All right, because I seen online for some reason, Ray, he don't like the fact that you like Golden State. Who is he rooting for? The Celtics? Is that who he's rooting for? The man from Uncle in the House, he says, now this is starting to be like my streams where I take 30 minutes before I get to, hey, cowboy, you know I've been doing that. Sometimes it take a damn hour. If you stop acting like a damn child, you. Hey, yo. Hey, let me know, y'all. Let's have a vote. Because this dude is killing me, bro. He's killing me. I love him. I'm loving him to death. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Let's have a vote. We got to do this. We got to be democratic about this. Should I make the game vote a mod or make his sit in the back? Make him a mod, sit his let's do it. Hey yo, new poll, because I'm loving this guy. I'm loving this new guy. Should I make the game vote a mod or make his sit in the back? You gotta love it. The house of Stadia, baby. This is a democracy. This is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy. Uh-oh, he's getting some votes. Make him a mod. Oh, man. Hey, look, they like you. They like you, Mikey. They like you. You're right. Do they... Here, let me scroll down here and try to pull the comments from this side. Oh, shoot. They like you, Mikey. They like you. It's not nonsense. It's supposed to be open mic, right? But treated like that makes people not want to do anything. Not do anything. I know, Volt. I know, man. It's horrible, Volt. You're going to hold me accountable. You're going to call FCC on me, man. Come on, Volt. What's really hurting you on the inside, man? You ain't have enough fiber today, baby? Look, man, I'm an older guy. I got grandkids. I can send you some Metamucil. Just give me a P.O. box or something. I'll send you some oats. You know what I'm saying? Some granola bars. You know, we ain't got to be out here like this, man. The votes ain't looking too good, man. They ain't looking too, they were starting off in your favor. They ain't looking too good, man. Here, let's do it again. It's not nonsense. This is supposed to be open mic, right? But being treated like that makes people not want to do anything. Hey, yo. Look, let me explain something to you, man. We'll answer any question that's fathomable. We're not going to waste time with nonsense. And if you have a question, don't armchair quarterback and be a jerk and say, well, this is how it is, and you don't know what you're talking about, because everybody that you see in this chat here is a school of the house of Stadia, including me. Meaning, regardless if they're happy about the platform or they got issues with it, like the homie Victor Del Maestro or whoever's in here, you know what I'm saying? You got people that may feel the same way you do about the platform, but they know how to operate here. We're trying to share facts. This is a co-op of facts. So don't, you don't go to a vegetable co-op, or you even old enough to know what a co-op is, but you don't go to a vegetable co-op coming with some Pop-Tarts, right? This is a co-op where we exchange facts, regardless of what your emotions are. So you don't come here trying to present Pop-Tarts at a vegetable co-op. You don't come here trying to present conjecture like it's facts, or this is what happens. It's the house of Stadia. If you don't like it, you know, like we say in the streets, take it or squeeze it, or skedaddle. But I get it. It's nonsense. This is supposed to be open mic night, right? I'll do it out here like sticky fingers, just grimy. Golly. Warriors Bay Area, says Ray. He said laugh out loud. Jeff is a Cowboy fan. Okay, so he just wants to get on you, what it's anything but what Ray likes. I see what's going on. And he said, hey, no, it ain't me, bro. It's the latest sensation, the vote. Hey, yo, we can get t-shirts and everything made, bro. Just rock to your boy. All I want is 15%, man, to cover the taxes. It's the vote. The vote is the real hero here, man. Straight up. It ain't me. I appreciate it. Hey, yo, the homie, the clan leader, Tommy Rocks in the house. Hey, Tommy, Aminor says he wants to join the Old Dirty Blaster. Should we let him join? Lo-Fi Monk said, hey, at Dude's Game Live is a good dude. He's a great dude, Lo-Fi. He's killing it out here, man. He's killing it out here. I love him. What it do? He said the game vote is another Jersey, is another Jersey boys. He's cool people. Oh no, look, man, I ain't got nothing wrong with it here. But here's the problem that game vote gotta reconcile with. When you're here, like when they say, when you in Rome, do as the Romans do. When you're here, this is what people don't understand. I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this since 2017. I started off in the game where, again, the shows was all about just making a sensational point, not necessarily sharing facts, but just making sensational points that sound good. And that's all cool. It's entertaining and I love that stuff. That's how I was brought into the game. That's what trained me, right? How to make your points stick out regardless if you got all the info or not. I've been trained in Fight Club. But here, we cut out a smaller piece of the pie as like I said, a fact co-op. So all we do here is exchange facts. Now again, everybody that comes to the floor that says something, I don't expect you to be right. Like if like Cowboy said, well, what I heard was such and such, such and such. Cowboy didn't say, oh no, you're wrong. Like homie said, homie, you're wrong. You just like to hear yourself talk, or you don't pay attention to anything. See, that's being absolutist, and that's going against the co-op here. When you go against the co-op here, you're going to get mopped out here. That's just the way that it is. Friend or foe. So I get it. I get you, the vote. Normally you're a good guy, you're a good dude, and people love you, and you kiss the babies, and you plant the flowers. When you come to the co-op, don't speak absolutist or don't try to demean anybody that's spitting facts. Once you do that, you are held accountable. Homie was held accountable because when I told him that wasn't right, he went on a tangent and he was wrong. That goes against the co-op. All right. So you sitting up here with your hemorrhoids bursting out live on air. That's not gonna save homie. What's gonna save homie is both of y'all grab some books, y'all go to the school of Stadia and y'all learn what's going on, then y'all come back here, okay? But I love y'all. Y'all keep kissing the babies and planting the flowers, you know what I'm saying? Says this is Stadia, kick him into the pit, laughing. Hey, no, he's got some votes. They said make him a mod. You know what I'm saying? Said, all right. So with that said, let's get into these subject matters, man. And I guess that's your soccer count. I don't know. This has already stepped up and said people make mistakes. Should have been enough. No, it's not enough because there's unsuspecting gamers here that would have saw that. See, the reason why we cut out this pie and the reason why we operate differently here, do games, is because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's misinformation out there that causes people to vote against their own better judgment because people talk in absolutist forms like how you did. I know various gamers that have been a victim of that. Before I went to the school of thought, I used to be a victim of that. And that's why this space has been created. StadiaDosage. We are the medicine against the ills of the community. The ills of the community is spreading misinformation. So when you come here, if you hear something that you may not be aware of, then speak that. I'm not aware. I don't understand it that way. Where's it at? Show me. It would have been handled completely different. Instead of you trying to insult somebody that's enlightened you with facts. So that's why it wasn't enough. Yeah, we kind of, we go overboard and tying you to the back of the pickup truck and just dragging you around a little bit when you misinform unsuspecting people. You don't know who was listening to you going through that spill. It ain't about me. It's about battling the people in the chat. Battling facts. This is a fact co-op. If you don't understand the facts, that's fine. But don't sit here and reject the facts like you know better when you don't. Hopefully you learned a very valuable lesson today. Love you, brother. All right, now let's continue on. This week on Stadia, let's go to the blog post. You know how we do. Let me show you something. It's this week on Stadia. Spend your summer in the cloud. Now I want to click on something to check something out. Because damn it, I have damn well every single game on Stadia. Ooh, but I'm seeing some good deals like Assassin's Creed Origins Deluxe Edition. It's normally $70. You can get the Pro Bundle for $13.99. The season pass is $40. You can get that for $12. Oh man. Syndicate season passes on. There's a lot. Woo! Hold on. Let me make sure, because I might need the Borderlands Ultimate. The Borderlands Super Deluxe is 60% off, and I might have to cop that because I'm about to get back into some Borderlands. What else we got here? Oh my God, these sales is crazy. So I'm looking at these sales, and that's the big whoop to do in this blog post today. They're talking about the sales and some other things that have come. I am surprised that the thing that we're going to talk about later, which is the Resident Evil news, wasn't mentioned here. A little peculiar. You know, I would have definitely thrown that in here, but you know, maybe they got other plans for it. But meanwhile, yeah, there are some killer sales, and there was 9 new trials. Let's go over to StadiaDosage.com where they talk about this. Major discounts, big titles live now on the Stadia store. What's going on here? Okay. And it says, if one thing is consistent is that the Stadia sales are always great. To celebrate the summer getting closer, bringing with it the chance to spend time, enjoy some great games, the Stadia team has put together a big sale. Some of the best games on the platform have amazing discounts. Save up to 85% on games like Cyberpunk 2077, Elder Scrolls Online, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, FIFA 22, Madden 22, Borderlands 3 Chorus, and a lot of indie goodies, as always, or bonus savings for pro members too. All right, so they're just giving you, wow, and these are just some of the sales. So that's some big stuff. Also, what else was going on? There's 9 more trials. There's more Stadia trials, and there's 9 more effective today with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, Far Cry Primal, Outriders, Jesus Christ, Golf with Friends, Lake, Deliver Us the Moon, The Falconer, Lumote, The Master Mode Chronicles, Death Run TV, and Through the Darkest of Times. That's crazy. Those are some good trials. So some cool stuff there. Here, let me end this poll. I might be a liar here. I might be a total jerk here and not make him a mod. I might make him a mod. We'll see. But I got a new. Let me see here. Create a poll. What do you grade this week's? What do you grade today's? I don't want. I can't say this week on Stadia. Today's this week on Stadia. What are y'all graded? A, B, not B, and B, C, and D. All right, there you go. Now, what do you grade this week on Stadia? Let us know, A, B, C, or D. And no, Aminor, I don't have F. Not for you. All right. I think it was okay. I mean, it was just an introduction to the sales. I saw that people just were like, meh. And I get it. They probably have a better plan than we know about, but I'm just curious on why the Resident Evil news wasn't put in there. That was huge this week. You know, maybe they're going to focus more on that later. But you know, let us know what you think. I mean, I give it a C. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a D because I know people are looking forward to new games in the announcement, but we got some great summer sales. Summer's normally about backlog, so that's cool. And as you guys can see, I'm personally doing less content here because I'm trying to play games, man. I'm definitely trying to play games. So. And your mama knows says, hey, the first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. You have to retract that you were drained by Fight Club. You're right. Tommy Rock says the Guardian event is up and running. Oh, it is. Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, we gonna have to cut this one short, baby. Let me see. MM2K, you were right. You calmed up to the plate and claimed and hit a home run only to whiff on a blunt. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I got you. I got you. He says, who are you firing at today? No, I'm not firing at anybody, Tommy. I'm just letting everybody know. See, Tommy knows. In dudes games, this ain't new. I'm just letting everybody know the rules of the Church of Stadia when you come here. Ron Slusher, he got his popcorn. I think I'm going to hop into Borderlands 3, says Sean L. Make sure you hit that like button. There's an Assassin's Creed stream from Ubi today. Yeah. And then they said something about waiting until September to tell you about the future of Assassin's Creed. I don't get that one. I think it was good to see some new trials, but a couple of games would have been nice. Yeah, a couple of games would have been good. Like I want to say C or C minus. But from what I understand, there is a plausible reason that the number of titles are where they are at the moment. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's bad because we don't get to play the games yet, but it's something that should be that looks like it's going to be rectified. I want to say it's going to come out to where everything balances itself out by the end of the year. I'll put it like that. I don't want to say too much. So that's why I don't give it a D or anything like that. There's just something like, I'll just say this. I'm gonna say this. When you're a platform holder, I think a few weeks ago should have showed us this. When you're a platform holder and you're not responsible for cutting the lights on or keeping the lights on, you're going to have bumps in the road. Like even, let's just say next year, load change porting, starts whipping out or starts rolling out games, you know what I'm saying, that we like to see at a better frequency, right? It's not oh my God, the troubles are over. No, there's going to be ups and downs. There's ups and downs with the major platforms. There's going to be, again, Microsoft just threw everything but the kitchen sink at it, and their last presentation was polarizing to most of its user base, even some of the most staunchest diehard Xbox fans. So gaming is a tough business, but it's even tougher when you're a 1% business. And Sonny talked about this. Sonny had said that, he's heard from sources at other platforms, at other cloud platforms, that it's just hard for them to get the games. And it's already a trial for you to get the games when putting the games on the platform is hard as well. When it's bad enough that the people don't want to give you the attention because you're not really keeping the lights on. Turnkey or not, then that just compounds the issue. So what I'm hearing is that, or what? No. I'll put it like this. I'll say it like this, because I'm not one to sit there and say, I found out something behind the scenes and I got to put it out here first. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of them. Because I think if it's something that isn't like super uber crazy, this platform is going to charge you a free month. I mean, going to charge you an extra month and then shut down. If it's not something like, it's better for it to be put out and curated a certain way so full context is there. Here's what I'm going to say. That's going to be very important, and remember this as things play out. When you're a 1% business, It's not even just state. When you're a 1% business and you're not responsible for keeping the lights on, there's no telling what these developers are going to do or these publishers are going to do. There's no telling what they're going to decide. Like even in a prime example, that's why I said there's going to be stumbles. In a prime example where, again, even if the platform isn't for you, you can't argue that GFN ain't been whipping out some bangers, right? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. And you can't argue that they got all their ducks in a row for what they need for what they're trying to accomplish. The porting process is there. They're getting accolades. Digital Foundries, brown. They got brown spots all over their face. Oh, we love GFN. It's the best thing in the cloud. When GFN on paper could do better numbers on paper, then all of a sudden they wanted to proclaim a king in the cloud, right? It couldn't go any better for GFN in that regards. And look what happened to them. God of War got taken from them. That's not something that they wanted. That's not something they said, okay, that's what we want y'all to do. That's something that happened to them. To them, even at that state. This is a 1% business. I'm going to keep saying it ad nauseum because sometimes the unsexy truth is better for you to adjust to than the sensationalist lie. I don't deal with that. I deal with the unsexy, the truth, whether it's unsexy or not. Truth of the matter is the porting. But regardless, because you're a 1% business, you're going to run into problems. So I'm just going to just keep that in mind. You're going to run into problems that have nothing to do with you doing anything wrong. It's just a simple fact that you are a 1% business. And sustainably, none of you can pay for games to bring them over. That's just not sustainable. Or to keep doing it. Of course, if you opt to do it at first, that's what every platform does at first. Then at some point in time, as the user base is built up, or just after a couple of years in general, you stop because it's not sustainable. If you keep paying for games, you run into a situation. Because here's the thing. A lot of money is put into these cloud platforms, even though there's not hardware being sold. A lot of money was invested in them. And a lot of money, just like a lot of money is being lost when you sell consoles. You make that money up in your software sales. So there's at some point in time even though you may buy ports earlier on, that you just got to stop. You got to stop by X amount of time, because if you go past that time, then you'll never pull out of the red. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the software. So I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say there are some mitigating factors that are out of a 1% platform's hands. And hopefully we'll see that remedy itself by the end of the year. And that's why when I look at this list, being that it's summertime, this is backlog time anyway, I look at it and I'm like, okay, it's not fantastic or great, but there are some killer sales out there. Hell, some that's going to make me buy something. You know what I mean? Granted, because the biggest stuff has come to Stadia Pro, I haven't purchased a game on Stadia. Lord Jesus, I think the last game that I bought on Stadia was Chorus. That was last year. So it's been the longest stint. I got World War Z in Pro, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? And other games that I was interested in, they came in Pro. But here I am, just most of the time playing Division 2 and Madden still. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. All right. So Sean, I'm if you want, when I get out of work, count me in. I'll be home in about 3. Oh, what y'all getting into? What y'all playing? Oh, you gonna hop on that Borderlands? Oh, hey, yo, that's right, Bulls for Life. You do be on that Borderlands 3. Hey, yo, you need to rap to Sean. See, Bulls, you gotta help us out. You gotta help out the old dirty blasters. Rap to Sean and see if Sean, we're doing this live on here like Sean ain't even here. Rap to Sean and see if Sean wants to be our clan leader on Borderlands 3 for the old dirty blasters. You know what I'm saying? Have that conversation with him, you know, charm him, send him whatever you gotta send him, you know. He said, that's why I put D. You put D Aminar? I'm shocked. What people don't realize is that these people can try these demos before dogging the platform. Yeah. And that's why I said a lot of people are looking at immersive stream. That's a good point that you brought that up, Dusty. A lot of people are looking at immersive stream and they're like, oh no, this signifies the end of Stadia. This is op-ed. We're going to get into it in a little bit. And I say no. I say no because immersive stream is strategically being put to help cascade more users to Stadia. I mean, it has its own purpose, but its auxiliary purpose is to help get more people. How do they do that? Again, let's use Resident Evil's demo as an example. People were highly impressed with that demo. Remember, we showed you this past Sunday on Weekly Checkup where the one guy was like, oh, this is crazy that you could play a game like this, a AAA game on a link. And so then somebody, Improv Joe, shout out to Improv Joe, he jumped in there and he's like, yes, it is great. Stadia, hashtag Stadia. And that person immediately got mad and said, oh, hell no. Stadia is this and Stadia is that. And it was like, we had to pull the veil up and say, no, brother, what you played on that website was powered by Stadia. And they said no more. That's the marketing. Marketing is nothing but psychology. Newsflash, marketing is not, if those of you that have never been behind marketing campaigns or never worked with a marketing team, marketing is nothing but psychology. And now the psychology that goes behind marketing is now being shared in incremental pieces with everybody. Like I remember when I used to be part of a larger team to where I managed managers. All of my work module, like I spent most of my time was spent setting up meetings and doing these classes where we talked about marketing and psychology all damn day. That's all. So it's the psychology of getting you interested in a product or a service. That's all marketing is. So when the marketing of Stadia this and the new age of gaming this didn't work, they're not going anywhere. They're not stopping. They're not even at their apex yet, which is when they combine Stadia and YouTube. Just like Amazon Luna's ain't at its apex until they do the same thing with Twitch. So they're not going anywhere, but they still want to, break into, slowly but surely into the mainstream factor. Their peers are growing around them. They want to be able to do the same thing, or continue rather to do the same thing. I don't want to say it like they ain't growing. They want to continue to do the same thing, but their peers are making moves to incrementally get into mainstream gaming further and further. They don't have the roadblocks that Stadia has because they don't have a tainted name. The Stadia, quote unquote Stadia name, is tainted in the mainstream as far as publishers and journos and stuff like that are concerned. As soon as you mention Stadia, if it's not on the same level of Xbox and PlayStation, it gets dogged out. Geforce Now, which is a comparative to a PC, they compared it to the 3080. The 3080 in a lot of ways mollywopped the 3080 tier, but they said that's okay. That's okay because you don't have to pay for a 3080 to get this good enough performance. You see what I'm saying? The same with xCloud. Yeah, even though they upgraded to Xbox server blades and there's Series X's, we don't need Series X performance. You get to play away from home. Well, that's the same thing with Stadia. You get to experience these games without having to invest all this money into this crazy hardware, and you get great performance. But they don't look at it that way. They look at it as Stadia, because it's not tethered to any other hardware. Stadia has to then staying on tier with Xbox or PlayStation. And that's not right. That's not a right prism to look at it at. When you look at them amongst their peers, they're at the top with GFN. But they don't have the roadblock, but GFN and them don't have the roadblocks that Stadia has. The name is tainted with mainstream influencers and stuff like that. So what do? You bring an immersive stream. You bring in this element that's doing things that people like. Allows you to play your favorite games on your favorite game maker's website. Who doesn't like that? And then when they play it and they actually like it, and then you say, oh, guess what? You can get more of this over at Stadia.com. Stadia.com, oh no. And that's what you've been playing, and you pull the veil off. And they say, oh, snap. Yeah, that's what you've been playing. You break down that fourth wall that studies have shown you comes to cloud gaming. When people generally try cloud gaming, they have a completely different understanding and liking to it than when they didn't, when they were armchair quarterbacking. Now, that doesn't settle which platform you prefer, but what it does do is, again, it opens you up to the experience. And that's what people are trying to do over at Google when it comes to immersive stream. They're trying to get people to, because people are making these decisions about Stadia and they're not even trying it. They're trying to get people to try it and then realize this isn't that bad, and then they'll try it some more. And then that's where these free demos, these extra 9 demos, 26 in total, come into play. So that's why immersive stream is vital at this juncture to Stadia. Not to just bring in more money, but to help advertise the platform more. In that immersive stream blog, this is why I don't understand why the journalists are overlooking this, but they want to say that Stadia is dead. In that immersive stream blog, that's supposed to be about Resident Evil immersive stream, they've lined it all up with Stadia. They put Stadia all in that thing. That doesn't sound like a group that's abandoning Stadia. They're trying to leverage something that's more popular for something else that they're sticking with as well, that they're hoping to get more traction. So it's just a different way to play that psychology game. That's all marketing is. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. And me bulls for look at these mugs making play dates, and they ain't even including them M2K. He says, see what I'm talking about? I'm gonna need whoever asks A to play, please stand up so I can backslap you. Whoever selected A. Oh well, no, I mean, look, man, if that, I mean, nah, people like what they like, cowboy. I ain't gonna do that. Because at the same token, if I don't know what you pick, but then whoever picks C, somebody can say this is a great blog post. This is a blog post. Look, they add all these new trials. Look at all these fantastic games. They're really pushing Stadia. That's what we want them to do, right? And they got all these fantastic sales to go along with it. So if people like what they see, then they can buy games and they're cheap. Whoever didn't vote A should get slapped. It works, but that's why I don't even play that game. People like what they like. If you liked it, if you thought it was an A, cool for you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at people on what they think about Stadia personally. I just advise them to be better in talking absolutist about its death when all we have is conjecture about it. And I'm going to get into that a little bit, even when it comes to these journos. I'm going to need you to spit it out, sir, or just leave it alone, because I have no clue what you're trying to say. He says the best thing for GFNX Cloud and PlayStation Plus was letting Stadia go all out and take all of the cloud arrows 300. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think what it was too, Sean, because I was embedded in that world, is that was in 2019, like there's fads in gaming. Like the same people that are the stuff in gaming, you come around 12 months later and they're hated. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that was the coolest thing in gaming was predicting what's going to happen. I mean, it still is now. That's why we listen to a lot of people that say this is what's going to happen in games and this and that. And when it don't happen, they just move on to the next thing because y'all all got short-term memories and you're not the wiser. But when people wanted to be the grand predictors in 2019, I remember that. Everybody wanted to be Michael Pachter that just came up with a lucky prediction. And what it did is it made you look smarter. It made you look brighter. It got more eyes and clicks on your platform, on your podcast. And what Stadia did, and there was a lot of us, me included, what Stadia did for a lot of us is it took your predictions, did a number 1 and a number 2 on it and threw it out the back window going 80 miles per hour on I-95. There's no better way to. Everybody who predicted what this thing was going to be, what it was, what it wasn't, got it totally wrong. And they got it totally wrong because they didn't ask questions. And when questions were asked, they didn't pay attention. Me included. There were many of us that when we pre-ordered Stadia, we thought that Stadia was going to be a subscription. And everybody thought it was just going to be a better version of Game Pass that was going to get more. Because y'all got to remember, back in 2019, nobody wanted Game Pass. 2018, 2019, like you couldn't give Game Pass away. I remember getting, Z would get like 20 Game Pass codes to give out. And he'd be like, don't nobody want this trash. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't give Game Pass out back in 2019, 2018. Excuse me. So and they didn't really have a bunch of stuff in there. They didn't have any big ticket AAA games, all like that. I mean, they had BioShock in there, you know, and they had some other older stuff. But the only thing I think they had promised at the time when Google was announced or Stadia was announced was they had announced that they were going to start putting their games in there, and then their games, people were like, I don't want your stuff either. So nobody wanted Game Pass at that time. Everybody was clowning Game Pass and was like it was trash. They were like, the concept is cool, but it's trash. This is early 2019. So, when Stadia was announced and it came out, everybody was like, oh, this is what this is going to be. It's going to be a better Game Pass. It's going to be more AAA. That's what everybody thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be everything was going to be 4K 60. I remember I thought that too at the beginning because I remember having a conversation with my brother Nethos and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be playing the Stadia thing all the time. It's just I'm just going to play Cyberpunk on it because I'm not running up my internet and my data on my phone to with 4K 60, you know, that's going to kill your bandwidth. And I remember having that conversation with him and Z in May, you know what I'm saying? After we were talking about, you know, what we going to do with Stadia, you know, who, you know, after people made their pre-orders. So none of us asked questions. Then somebody finally asked Stadia, well, what's going on? Y'all are going to be the proper Netflix for gaming, right? And Stadia was like, no, we're not. I'm like, what? Like, no, we're, you know, you buy your games a la carte and all, you know, and all this other. That was like, and that's when things went downhill. That's when things went downhill because then everybody that made those predictions of Stadia being this, that, and Stadia was going to do that, that all was a hit to their ego. Wasn't a hit to my ego because I went live on air and said, shout out to my bro Nethos for doing the homework. I remember Nethos was one of the first people like anywhere that discovered, I forgot where he saw it. I think he saw it in the chat or something like that. And finally Stadia answered and said, no, we're not going to be solely a Netflix style of gaming. We're going to be like a regular platform. Nethos was the first person to discover that. And I remember when he discovered that, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, well, whatever. We'll see. We'll see how this works. So, that was a strike to a lot of people's egos. They were mad. And they've had the pitchforks out for Stadia ever since then, because it made them look bad. I mean, I remember so many people, they gasped when they heard that. Not because they were like, oh man, because it's not like PlayStation or Xbox went anywhere. They made these predictions. Like there was people that were making predictions about Stadia, like, cloud gaming may not be for me at first, but a couple of years down the line, I might get into it, and Stadia is going to lead the charge because they're going to be offering Netflix style. I mean, people were saying this crazy stuff. They're going to lead the Netflix style gaming charge and down the line, and I'm like, well, I was eating it up. I remember sitting with some podcasters and we're checking out our GC ping. For those of you that are well in depth with Stadia, y'all know that tells you how well Stadia will run for you because of how close you are to a tower. So I was checking my GC ping with a real prominent podcaster, live on the air, asking them questions and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Going back and forth. Kind of think they had like an AMA and Discord. I can't remember how we was doing it, but I was going back and forth with them on my way home from work. Me and this person, he's on the other side of the country. We're both excited about this. Come to find out, when it was something different, that deflated him because he built his product, his name on predicting stuff. I didn't. I don't try to hold a crystal ball. I follow the facts. And if I don't know what the facts are, my 3 favorite words, you know what my 3 favorite words are? I try to always share with my kids. I don't know. I'm never afraid to say I don't know. That's how someone can check their ego. Are you afraid to say I don't know? I'm not. Those are my 3 favorite words. I don't know. Because then that tells me, oh, I'm being honest with somebody and I'm not leading them astray, so I sound good. I don't know. Those are my 3 favorite things to say, because those are the 3 favorite words that I like to hear, because I don't want people just wanting themselves to sound smart and sound good and just say anything. If you get asked a question and you don't know, I don't know. So it wasn't a strike to my ego. I was like, oop, I didn't do my research. Nethos did. Shout out to Nethos. So I got to do some more research on this thing. Am I still going to keep it? And I ended up keeping it. It was a tumultuous back and forth mentally, but I kept it because there was a lot of negative stuff being put in the media. And at that point in time, I just wasn't fully aware at how egregious the mainstream media was with obtaining facts, not just doing copy and paste reporting, and simply put, lying. That's one thing. I know there was this motif being floated around, and I'm gonna get back to the chat after this and shut the hell up. There was this motif being floated around about what if, the naysayers and the stuff like that hate Stadia, they claim that they want Stadia to do better. But if Stadia would have closed down tomorrow, they would celebrate, right? And that was something people were going back and forth on, whatever. My version of that is, some people say, well, MM2K, because here's the thing. What I can tell you, based off the facts, is that Google is not intending to wind down Stadia or Stadia retail. Just looking at the fact stuff that is available to all of us and stuff that I may be aware of or whatever, it's just silly. Anything's possible. New CEO tomorrow. I don't believe in cloud gaming. It's going, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just going by the facts. That being said, that doesn't mean that Google's strategy is going to work. You understand where I'm coming from? Just because anybody is attempting something, Xbox, PlayStation, whoever, it doesn't mean that their strategy is going to work. So just because I may hear things like, oh, Stadia is winding down, like nothing alludes to that. They're not purposely winding down. Doesn't mean that their strategies are going to work. See, if people were having discussions about, I don't know if this is an effective strategy or not, see, I can respect that. I had a conversation in the chat during weekly checkup where somebody was going back and forth with me about the strategy being effective. And they were like, no, MM2K, that don't make sense to me. Now that's different because that's just not hearsay. That's just us guessing. Nobody knows if the strategy is going to work or not. There's just a problem with people identifying the strategy. People are falsely identifying the strategy as they're trying to wind Stadia down. No, they're trying to reboot the product and do it at a different angle, particularly with the porting, to get the games that they know will help catapult it as they reach towards their apex. But does that mean that the strategy is going to work? Nobody has that answer. Nobody has that answer for any platform. Let me put that out there and preface what I'm about to say with that. So let's just hypothetically say that down the road, the strategy doesn't work. The strategy doesn't work. They've tried to mend with YouTube and it just falls flat and it just doesn't work. And then Stadia, for whatever reason, as a retail is no more. There are people that are waiting by that sideline to say, oh, MM2K, and they'll wait decades for that. We'll be in our 80s. It'll sound more like that. Fella, Stadia failed. And I'll say, you know what? It didn't fail me. Because while I was up and running, I got to play all these great games. I got all these great experiences, met a lot of great people. Met you. Got to have fun with y'all. But the most important thing that I've learned from doing this whole cloud thing, particularly, mainly because of Stadia, but doing this whole cloud thing, which is more valuable than gold, is I didn't realize how bad mainstream game journalism was. See, I used to think that they just had bad takes on stuff and they didn't really understand the culture. I just thought it was a bunch of wet behind the ears college grads that just grew up with the PlayStation and didn't understand gaming culture wide enough and just had bad takes on stuff and were trying to influence bad things. No, it goes beyond that. These guys don't research. These folks don't. They don't dig deep. They double down on their lies. They'll believe you'll see. I was going back and forth with one journalist who when I bring up stuff like, look, the facts don't show that. Oh, don't give me Stadia's PR talk, but when it comes to Microsoft PR talk, they'll never question it. Say you believe the PR that you want to believe because of your own agenda. Like they're not biased at all. They're a bunch of op-ed college grads who want to sit up on their high horse and try to move the chess pieces around on the board and dictate what it is that you like and you don't like. That's not journalism. Journalism is making sure that everything is out there on the table for you, exposed to help you make the decisions that you need to make so you know what's going on. That's journalism. That's it. Ain't about persuading you to do this or persuading you to do that. You are not idiots. You know what you want. It's just you got to know how to differentiate. Like for instance, let's say if I go to a store and I see 2 different loaves of bread on there and I'm like, damn, I really like wheat bread. I don't eat white bread. I like wheat and I don't like the wheat with the gluten in it. You know what I'm saying? And there's 2 loaves of bread. One is a yellow bag, one simply has a white bag, and they both just say bread on it. When you run into scenarios like that, the journalist is supposed to come and say, okay, look, here's what's in the yellow bag of bread. Here's what's in the white bag of bread. There you go. And you walk away. So whatever things aren't transparent, the journalist is supposed to help you mitigate and tell you what's in the thing in totality, and then just walk away and move on to the next thing and help expose the next thing. But what these current journalists are doing in that situation is they're walking up and they're saying, well, you know, that yellow bag, you know what I'm saying? I think that yellow bag has been sitting out here for 5 days. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I mean, it doesn't look good for anything that's in a yellow bag. I've been told stuff that's been in yellow bag mainly means that it's spoiled and it's sour. That's what I've been told. And I've been told that by a lot of credible sources, like the IGN had just wrote up something about they saw something in the yellow bag and it was spoiled. So, I mean, if you want some expert advice, I think that the yellow bag is not what you want. That's how they operate now. Instead of telling me the yellow bag has wheat in it, there's no gluten, there's gluten in the, there's gluten in the white bag. Instead of just breaking that all down, they're trying to persuade your decision, and they're trying to do it in a wordsy, way, elitist way, instead of just giving you the straight dope. And that's why I'm so staunch. And again, I know people may say, oh, you're such an asshole, MM2K, you're such a jerk. Excuse my French. No, but that's why we're so strict here, like I said, of everybody who's participating respecting the co-op. We put an end, we're clear cut, definitive stopgap from all that conjecture, from all that wannabe persuasion, all that. We put an end to that. You got people of all types of opinions and persuasions here. I'm not here to tell anybody what to like, what not to like. I'm just here to tell them what's in the yellow bag and what's in the white bag. You make the decision on which one you want. That's true journalism, and we've lost that. It's gone. I've been gaming for 35 plus years. I've been reading circulars since Nintendo Power all the way up to GMR and to Game Informer today. I've seen the trends as they've eroded. Trust me, today's modern journalism is nothing about more than copy and paste journalism for clicks. They will spread lies and won't care, and will battle you all day on Twitter for it and defend their lies. It's sad. It's a sad state. And hopefully you guys will see the diversion from that here on Stadia Dosage News and StadiaDosage.com. All right. So that's what we got to say about that. We're going to move on to the next topic. Well, we still don't know anything of cloud gaming service that has shown a profit. I would agree. I would agree. We don't know. We don't know. It's so small. Sean L says, I doubt any have until the market grows. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. With the economy in decline, I don't think there's a lot of spare cash in the industry. Frankly, I think GFN, etc., are going to cut their budgets too, like Stadia. Here, okay, hold on one second. Let me do something. Hold on. Okay, all right. So let me say this to budget cutting argument, which is an understandable argument. That's not the argument that I follow, only because of the inside information that we got early last year. I'm on a different track to that, but it all leads, I think, to the same outcome, that Stadia decided to no longer spend a whole bunch of money on ports. You could have the budget cutting argument, where, because they didn't reach their goals, the budget got cut and they had to come at it a different way. From what we understand, the budget got reallocated. Let me give you an example. So, damn, I gotta watch how I say this. Sheesh. All right, so when I managed managers, I had, I don't want to get myself in trouble here. When I managed managers, all right, I'm gonna give you a scenario like this. This is a scenario that was very similar to when I managed managers, right? I had several teams that operated under me. I had a team that answered phone calls. I had a team that worked on technical issues. I had a team that dealt with, how can I say, Q&A, quality assurance. Yeah, I'll call it that. I had a team that dealt with quality assurance, and I had a team that dealt with inbound correspondences. Okay. So those were the four teams: inbound correspondences, quality assurance, technical issues, and customer contact. We realized that at some point in time that the Q&A team was no longer needed in our budget, because what we had tried to do when we built that Q&A team was to deal with some issues that clients were upset about. And they were like, look, y'all keep messing this up and this, that. And so we said, okay, let's get some extra eyes on it. So we built a Q&A team that specifically handled a certain function, right? So we found out that having that Q&A team deal with those specific functions wasn't the answer either, because their job was to get consumer complaints at 1% each month. And we were still we went from 10% to 3%, but that's still not 1%. So I sat down with my technical team and I said, you know what? A lot of this stuff is human. It's just human error. It's human error. It's human error, miscalculating numbers and stuff like that. So I sat with my IT team and I sat with the technical team and I said, can we develop something that will do what these people are doing manually, but it'll get rid of the human error? And all it requires is and then it'll spit out some tools and some reports that'll show that it's working properly. It's easier for one set of eyes to look at reports once a month, opposed to 10 people sitting in this area, and all those 10 people got to be handling errors at 1% or less. Can we just whip everything through this machine or through this automated process, and then just have a report comes out that just allows us to kick the tires? And we were able to create it. So because we were able to create it, my boss said, look, okay, great. We're keeping that money in your budget because what you guys are doing is important. Now we've gotten past the error part. but we still got to grow because we still need the incoming correspondences taken care of, and we need, the customer contact taken care of, and the technical team, being that y'all doing this, y'all could be doing more stuff for the whole department. So that money got absorbed. It got taken away from that QA team, but it really, most of it went to my what did I call them? The technical support team, and it was sprinkled throughout the others. So what we understand on top of that is that when addressing the porting issues, there was additional funds given to address the porting issues and to address them quickly. That's why you see a lot of Stadia hires, a lot of people that are being hired to go over the port. So I get the argument of things were slashed, but that's not the information that I got. And just because you cut off one thing, if you're able to get to it in a more automated fashion, then those funds could reasonably diverge there. And what the hope is that, okay, let's just say in 1 year, one accumulative year, Stadia would have spent $200 million on ports. The goal is you take that $200 million the next 2 years, put it into hiring new people, getting more resources, and doing other things, right? So in years 3, 4, and 5, you no longer got to spend that money. See, even if my team would have been able to be at 1%, that's money that we would have had to keep spending on them. Once they diverted those resources for that particular budget to go do some other projects, that was it. That was it. They were done. The following years, they didn't have to do that because their salaries and stuff, and we already diverted enough money to handle the project that 1 year. So that was it. Or the different projects that 1 year. So that's it. So I don't know if you call that a cut opposed to a diversion of funds, but I get the argument, and it's all leading to the same thing, that Stadia simply just couldn't do the same thing. They couldn't keep paying for ports. That just isn't sustainable, and nobody else is doing it. So as someone who has sat in major decisions, I'm going to tell you, and I haven't sat in on this major decisions at Google, but I'm at some major decisions for a Fortune 500 company. I'm going to tell you, this is how the conversation went. What's the problem? Well, they say the porting isn't, the greatest. Okay, well, how is our competitors getting games? Well, their porting process is easier. All right, figure it out. Get it to where it's like with them. Well, but we do this. No, you have to get it to what is it going to take? Go back to them and find out what it's going to take. Then they come back. All right, this is what they say that they need done in order for it. And these are our proposals in order to get that done. And this is the cost analysis to do that over this amount of time. All right, here goes a check. We had some money in the budget because of such and such. Here goes a check to cover the rest. All right, bye. Get it done. So the fact that their competitors are not paying for ports would have driven that conversation, and that's why I say it's more of a diversion of funds. Because from what we understand, extra funds had to be padded into that. And that's why we look at it the way that we do. That wasn't a cutback. It was just, we're not paying for that anymore. We're not paying for that. Because this money that we spend could be better used And it can be paid for a shorter amount of time. Now, I mean, do you want to consider that a cutback? I mean, I don't know. But wasting money on something that isn't working, opposed to diverting the funds into something else that seems like it's going to be a lot more effective. But I don't necessarily call it a cutback. Laugh out loud will do, man. Oh yeah. Talk to that dude Sean, man. Talk to that dude Sean, man. I don't know what it is about that dude Sean. That dude Sean don't like me, man. No. Shout out to Sean, one of my biggest supporters, my bro, man. I'm happy every time I see him. He's gonna laugh my ass off. Yeah, Sean, come on, bro. If y'all be in that Borderlands 3, hey, look, man. Old Dirty Blasters is trying to take over the world. Tommy Rocks, hey, look, man. Round of applause to my bro Tommy Rocks. Tommy, we could have no better clan leader than Tommy Rocks, the man from Uncle in there. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? They doing the daggone thing. We trying to get to that level for Borderlands 3 and then eventually Destiny, man. If we can get to that level in Destiny, if we can just start wiping mugs out in Destiny 2, oh my. Sean Cloud, Arrows 300 style. Oh man, yeah. Let's get there. Greetings. I'll leave a like. Hey, thank you, Barclay on Stadia. I appreciate it. What up? Wrist locks for all. So now the word is Google is leaving Stadia for immersive. Yeah, that's the new trend. That was in that silly article that I'm about to pull up. It's crazy stuff. It is what it is. I select B, but if it's fisticuffs you want, I'll box you. Get him. He says, I picked C, and MM, you had me cracking up because you had to think about people selecting A. I mean, look, Cowboy, I'm not mad at him. You know, you like what you like. I mean, if you selected A, then okay, I mean, all right. And just like if you select D, I'm not mad at you either. Purple Haze in the house. She says, thought it was a B, just not a strong B. Geek to sneak. Okay, all right, Purple. See, I'm not mad at you. Looking forward to the next twos. Yep. Purple Bully said, yeah, calm that down, Cowboy. Calm it down. Yep. Yeah, can you visit that StadiaDosage website? PNT is not, well, no. That's old. Ooh, we got to fix that. That's old. I gave it a B for this twos, but honestly, is it a B plus or a B? And A is hard to get for me because that means it was, most things. Yeah, exactly. I'm there too. Can you rank Stadia, GFN, PS Plus, xCloud, and Luna? From my experience, Stadia's one, and I can explain why in my experience. Stadia's one because it's the most convenient. I get good enough performance consistently for the games that I want to play. And it's like that across all devices. Like, you know, like whatever you get from Stadia, you get on anything. So again, I'm not trying to knock GFN, but the one issue that I had with the 3080 tier, see, I didn't even realize this. I gave the 3080 tier to my son because I was experiencing issues with it. And I just didn't quite like the fact that for the games that I played, when I compared them to Stadia, I was like, I'm not really, I'm not feeling double the price. I'm not feeling this. So I gave it to my son. And come to find out, he really couldn't get the experience of any of that stuff on his, because he was playing via a Chromebook. See, that's the thing I like about Stadia. When you play on Stadia, whatever you have, as long as your device can do it, you're gonna get that benefit. If the device can omit 4K, you're gonna get 4K. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta, so I didn't like the flexibility of GFN. But I like Stadia. What would I rank next? I'm gonna say Luna next. People are gonna be disappointed in that, but I'm gonna say Luna next. Here's why. The 3080 tier is too expensive for me. To pay $20 a month for a service, like I told you guys in 2020, that was too expensive for me. Then a lot of people agreed, but they differ now. And it still is the same, same today. $20 a month is too expensive for me. But even with that, that's with every, all the bells and whistles. For that $20, what I get and what I get consistently isn't for me. So when I talk about GFN as far as ranking them, I can't even put the 3080 tier in there because of that. Pricing yourself out is huge for me. That's why I won't even rank Shadow there. I rarely rank Shadow because I feel like they price themselves out of the whole conversation. So I'm talking about the priority tier, which is where I'm at now. I went back to the priority tier. I think Luna plays better on the priority. I mean, plays better than the priority tier. Luna plays better, and it's a little bit more consistent. And particularly if there's an Ubisoft game and I'm not digging the performance on Stadia, I can play it on Luna. Like Luna got a lot of play. Like I like playing Immortals Phoenix Rising on Stadia, but I preferred it on Luna. Just something about it playing on Luna was better for me. So that's where Luna got most of my plays was Immortals Phoenix Rising. So I said, this is great. And then another one was Far Cry 5. Where I can't get 60 frames per second on Far Cry 5, I can get it on Luna. So Luna is going to be second for me. Third would be GFN. I haven't tried PlayStation yet, so it's hard for me to rank it. The only thing that I've tried with PlayStation is the remote, where you play it from your PlayStation 4, your PlayStation 5. That was, if I'm ranking that only, I would put that next, because xCloud's version just was crappy to me, and I got a video on that. I mean, it's older, but I got a video on and that's, you call that the in-network testing. So it might be different now, so I can't really rank PlayStation, but I can rank Xbox. xCloud is last for me. There are some exceptions like Forza. Forza plays great on there. May not always look great, but it plays great. I think the creme de la creme right now on xCloud is Fortnite. I was really surprised at how well Fortnite played. And here's the thing, shout out to my brother Post Up. Post Up is a big Xbox person, fellow broadband bully. Me and him was in the DM and we was going back and forth arguing, right? And smack talking. And he went out there and he played Fortnite. Now, normally when these Xbox fanboys, they talk about xCloud, you never see any footage. Never. It's only Stadia and GFN people and Luna people putting footage out there. Never Xbox people. When he came in our DM and showed footage of him playing Fortnite, I knew something special was going on there. I said, oh, hell no. I even stopped arguing with him and I went online and I played it. And I said, oh my. So, yeah, Fortnite is the creme de la creme. And if there was a game that you wanted to and when I say creme de la creme, it's still not as good as Stadia on any game, but it's definitely playable. You can enjoy it. It's there. It's there as far as an enjoyable experience. The only other game that I've had that on xCloud is Forza. But yeah, when I play Fortnite, oh man, yeah, they did well there. They did well there. So that's my ranking. It would be Stadia, Luna, GFN, and then when I say GFN, I'm talking priority tier. I'm not even going in the 3080 tier because to me, as a consumer, it's not for me. And then Xbox. Let's see here. I gave it a C. I've been using Game Pass since 2019. So I've been off and on. I had it loaded up until 2021, I think. And then I just let it lapse a couple of times. I just do it by month basis. And right now I don't have it. To me, an A is something like a combination of a new feature expansion, new game. Yeah. I agree with you guys. Stadia Venture says Stadia's model is great for me. That's why I play it. Could play anywhere on the system. Same here. Amazon has already a cloud business, so that's not a stretch. Yeah, so Division 2 looks better on GFN. It runs better on Stadia. Just you always say that Stadia should focus on being a subscription service, and I always disagree, but I think he might be right, so it can take the heat off of Stadia to get AAA hands day and date. Here's the problem with it being a subscription service only, is that you got to pay a lot of money for that. And that's not yet a proven product. I mean, Microsoft is pumping a lot of money into Game Pass. And this is where I caution to where the journos and stuff like that, they really do a good job in our psychology of things. PlayStation being defiant to everything journalists have said, and even people like David Jaffe have said about his former company, Sony. They are walloping Xbox and revenue made. Granted, Xbox is seeing more consoles sold in the wake of, like Matt Piscatella will tell you, in the wake of PlayStations being hard to come across. And that was an ingenious move for Microsoft and Phil to get a grasp on as many chips as they did. You got to give kudos to them for that. But people aren't buying the software. They're just utilizing Game Pass and they're testing it out and they're trying it out here and there and they're getting these free versions and they're not staying. And it's showing in the revenue. When you look at the total revenue for Xbox, the gap is getting bigger. So Microsoft is putting a lot of money into not only putting their games in day and date, that's one thing, but then buying for other top-notch content to be in there day and date. They haven't gotten out of third place with that yet. And they were able to amass maybe half of the Xbox series, Xbox One generations. The amount of the half of the Xbox One generation amount of users, which is 30 minutes. There's roughly around 60 million Xbox Ones out there, and there's 30 million. So half of those people, number wise, have Game Pass. To where you still have Strauss Zelnick and others, the business people, the people that crunch the numbers, telling you. I'm not talking about PlayStation people. I'm talking about the people, other people running companies. They're like, this just isn't proven to be fruitful. The more fruitful model, this is the model that's making money for Xbox right now, which they're trying to change because they really want to be able to reach the billion gamers, and the Game Pass model is really going to help them do it. Not the current model that's making them money. You know what the current model is that's making them money? It's the Xbox Live Gold model. That's why they raised the price on it. Because they're trying to force all those people to Game Pass. If they can force all those people to Game Pass, then they're in a great spot. And those people aren't going to Game Pass. You're still not moving, even though the price was high. They're not going anywhere. Why? Because the general consumer that has that Xbox Live Gold is happy with that. They don't want access to all these games. That's us. That's the hardcore. We're like 5, maybe 10% of the gaming populace. The overwhelming majority of the gaming populace are casuals. So they buy 2 games a year, 7 games a console or a platform cycle. They don't care about all those games. They want their Maddens, their FIFAs, their Call of Duties, and you know what I'm saying? And until those are in a subscription service where they can get all the games they want to play in a subscription service, they're not going to bite. Now, kudos to Microsoft for halfway getting there. They're looking to get Activision Blizzard, which is huge, because Activision Blizzard makes what? Call of Duty. So if they can get Call of Duty in there, then that's great. But you got to think about it this way. They spent $7.5 billion to get Bethesda. They spent another 60 to get Activision Blizzard. They're still paying all this money to get games in the Game Pass, along with their own that have huge budgets. That's a lot of, and then this new stuff that they're buying, they're going to put in the Game Pass. That's a lot of money. $70 billion for stuff going straight in the Game Pass. That's a lot of money. And you're at 30 million. Half of your your Xbox One base. So there's a lot of money being bled there, but Microsoft got it. And they're taking a big risk with it. It's just not showing fruits of labor yet. And that's why you see people incrementally doing things similar. Ubisoft, okay, we're putting, Ubisoft Plus, PlayStation with their PlayStation tiers. They're not quite, everybody's just there's a reason everybody's on the periphery. These people are not dummies. Do not listen to these journalists. These journalists don't understand business. They just know how to write stuff and try to entice people to do stuff. The business makers understand business. If what Microsoft was doing was so profitable, they all would have been doing it. They're setting up their structures to mimic it when it starts being fruitful, but nobody wants to do it right now. Nobody does, because it's not showing fruitful. So saying, and a company like Google, that's like, it's hard for you to get into the gaming business and start off trying to get big budget games as in your subscription, sir, as a subscription. Like, that's why I say understanding the business is key. Google just can't they wouldn't be able to start off doing that. They wouldn't be able to do that for years, hell, let alone maybe even decades. Why? Because they got to get to a point to where, like, the reason why this even semi works for Xbox right now is because Xbox have a lineage to where there's so many console sales to where people will say, okay, well, even if we put our subscription model, our game in a subscription-based day and date, they're giving us X amount of money and we're still going to have X amount of sales. They don't have that with Google. Google has no player base, and there's no and then in cloud gaming, it's just a 1% business, so they're not guaranteed a lot of. Do you know the amount of money they would have to pay for games to come to it would be astronomical. It would be way more than what Xbox has to pay, because again, Xbox has a dedicated user base. So I understand the argument, Cowboy, emotionally. It just doesn't tether right with the business. Prime example, and I'll just leave it at this. You got to follow the business people, not the journalists. If that was such a smart move, Amazon, who's known for blowing money, Amazon would have been put what's the New World and what's it called in there. Why haven't they? Why haven't they put, and the people say, well, they gave it to GFN. No, by them allowing it accessible to GFN, people still got to buy it. Even if GFN itself is a subscription service, it's a subscription service that gives you access to stuff that you have to buy. By them putting it in Luna, you don't have to buy it. That's bad business. Xbox is taking a risk. And the risk, I mean, we don't know yet. We're in a question mark phase. Their risk may be fruitful for them, but it's a huge risk. So everybody's just standing by and watching and saying, oh my God, is this even worth it? So I get the emotion of wanting to do that, but that's just not going to work. Not for when you're new. Because you're not going to get the big games anyway. And I get that Amazon does channels. I get that Amazon is doing channels, but look what they have. It's hard. It's hard when you're a 1% business. It's hard getting into gaming altogether. But I think what's not being taken into consideration is that how harder it is for these other platforms, these cloud platforms. Because not only are you new to where people are skeptical about you, not only are you new, but you have a low ceiling. And for all of these for all of these platforms to perform the way that they do, I think it's amazing to perform the way that they are. It's amazing that they've been able to provide what they're providing now for all of them. All of them. You know, yeah, I sometimes we just got to be cognizant of the business side of it. It's just not fathomable for the business side. We look at Luna's lineup. I mean, granted, there are some games on Luna that we're like, oh, wow, I would love to play Kingdoms Come Deliverance. I was on a podcast with the developer Rick. He's a great guy. Or one of the main developers, Rick. He's a fantastic guy. Shout out to Podcast Unlocked. Great guy. Fantastic person. I loved it. I mean, and that was one of my most anticipated games when it came. And then there was a whole bunch, I think Division or something came and I didn't get it. And I promised I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this game. Rick, this looks great. And never got the game. But then saw, years later we see it on Luna. That's fantastic. But generally, even with this law, who has the better lineup? I mean, it's cool that you can access this stuff for only $5.99 a month if you're grandfather like me, but who has a better lineup? I mean, we're talking about Hitman, Outriders, Resident Evil, you know what I'm saying? Cyberpunk. Marvel, Alliance, and the NBA 2K and Madden, and we're just talking about games that at this juncture in these early years you're not going to see on Luna Plus. That's because in order for them to even get the games that Stadia has, they would have to pay astronomical amounts of money, and it just wasn't worth them to it. There were some cool hidden gems that they were able to. There's a lot of it is similar to Stadia's lineup, and there were some cool hidden gems that they were able to get too. But why have two Lunas? You know what I'm saying? That's all you would have. If Google was going to be a subscription service, we wouldn't see Madden or none of this stuff. We wouldn't see it because it would have been too astronomically high for them to get those games. So we would just have essentially two Lunas, one on YouTube and one on what's it called? I don't want that. Here's essentially my advice to people when it comes to this cloud stuff. It's early. It is so early. This is something like, just don't look. As someone that has done this for decades, do not look past the analysts. Google tried to do it and they lost. You know what I'm saying? They thought they was going to get 1 million active users by the end of 2020, even if everything would have went right. No, this is a 1% business. People don't trust this. I think the best case scenario for Google, even if everything was going right, was for them to gradually go up and maintain people and maybe get to like 800,000. People don't trust cloud gaming. So, with that being said, it's early. If one cloud platform doesn't give you what you're looking for, it's all right. Or if you wish it would do, go look at another one. And I'm not saying that to be like, get out of here and, get out of here because you don't like what I like. No, I'm just saying, like, it's early and they all provide something different, and it's okay. It's okay that people like Stadia the way that it is right now. It's okay that people like Luna the way that it is right now. It's okay that people like GFN and xCloud the way that they are right now. It's early. And you just got to understand that if you're a gamer who's wishing for the day to where we can game and get the games that we want to play just like that on any of these platforms or a platform that we really enjoy, we all are there. But it just requires some patience. And if you're a hardcore gamer, you're not going to get what you want out of a singular platform for most, for all intents and purposes. You're going to have to use a bevy of all of them. But this is something new. Cloud gaming is new. Have you ever gone to a seminar or anything where there's something new being introduced? I have. And you're given little samples of different things to have because it's new and it's growing. That's where we're at right now with these platforms. It's okay to be positive about these platforms. It's okay to be enthusiastic, but we can't expect the moon and the stars. And some platforms will leapfrog others as far as being your favorites. It'll happen, and it's okay. So those are just my thoughts on it. He said, MM ranks Stadia at 1. I'm going to need him to be carried out in handcuffs, officer. It's him with the white shirt. Well, I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Like, I like cloud gaming. I like the plug and play aspect being presented on cloud gaming. And like, for instance, Resident Evil, which is like probably the biggest content that we heard of this year for any cloud platform at this point, is coming to Stadia and is not coming to any other platform. Like, for instance, I get that you like Evil Dead. I don't care for it. The only other game that I care for that isn't on the platform at this point is Dying Light 2. Saints Row's been rated. We'll see if or when that comes. But I don't really see anything else coming anywhere. Like, what's coming? I'm curious, Cowboy, what is coming anywhere else that would make you excited? And here's what kills me too. A lot of people want to ignore the Ubisoft games. Like they don't matter. They matter. And I'm not like, oh, give me, let me play these games. No, I have a very select attention when it comes to games. I don't want to play everything. So just because you're showing me a lot of games, it doesn't mean anything to me. And there's more gamers that operate how I operate because, again, the average gamer only buys 2 games a year and 7 games an entire generation. Now, I'm not that frugal to get only 2 games a year. It might be like, as of late, maybe 5, maybe a little bit more. But I don't want to play everything because everything doesn't excite me. And more gamers are closer to where I am. I want to play great stuff, great experiences. I just don't see great experiences anywhere unless they're exclusive to a console. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm out of all the platforms, again, a game that I did like, I still got to finish is Resident Evil. I can't get that anywhere else. And they're getting a 3rd-person mode. And let's talk about that. This is the perfect segue into that. Let's move into that. Hold on. Where's let's get this out of the way and let's talk about Resident Evil. And let me move here. Resident Evil is getting a 3rd-person mode. There's like this Resident Evil Mercenaries, and then there's a new story campaign coming, and we're getting the Reverse, like one of the most celebrated franchise, and you're not getting that anywhere else on any other cloud platform. Outriders, they're getting an expansion. You can get the base game on Stadia just by being part of Stadia Pro. You can't beat that with a stick. Meaning the game doesn't, I don't know if it's still part of Game Pass. I don't know if Outriders is still part of Game Pass, but I ain't got to worry about it ever coming out. And I got to buy it. As long as I got Stadia Pro, it's mine. I bought it anyway, but still, I'm hypothetically, I'm Pete. Call me Pete. I'm hypothetically speaking for Petey the gamer. Right? So all I got to do is pay for the expansion. World War Z is a great game. It may not be Dying Light 2, but it's about to get crossplay. And then they said they're going to do more stuff. So maybe a 4K mode is coming. That's in Stadia Pro. Now that is available on Geforce now, but again, that I didn't have to pay for that game. It's in Stadia Pro. That's a great deal. It's nowhere else but GFN, and I got to buy it in GFN. So I'm just trying to understand why Stadia of all platforms, why ranking that number 1 seems to be crazy. Help me understand that one. Let me see here. Social. Back to social. He said the Ubisoft games, they do matter. They aren't on everything, and now most of them are now included with PlayStation Plus Premium. But they're not coming day and date. That's no, and it's not most of them. It's some of the older stuff, and you're not going to get the Ubisoft games day and date. And are the Ubisoft games coming day and date to Xbox? On as far as the cloud, I'm talking solely the cloud. Now I get that they got that Ubisoft Classics thing, but his avatar dropping day and date on PlayStation. You can't sleep on this stuff. So I get Division Heartlands, which is going to be free to play, but I get that on the cloud, right? I get X Defiant, that's coming to the cloud directly to Stadia. It's coming to GFN too. They are not coming anywhere else except, well, it's GFN and Luna they're coming to. But they're coming to GFN. They're coming to Stadia. So Stadia, that's a check right there in their box. So I don't understand that one. He says, and I'm just like you. I'm a picky gamer, so I don't want to buy that many games either. And it's hard for me to get excited over games. And Resident Evil is my favorite video game, so it's actually stated that it's coming to Stadia. Yeah, they made the announcement last night. Yeah, let me inform you, good brother. That's why your ass should be over at StadiaDosage.com. Let me show you something. Yeah, you should bring your ass to StadiaDosage.com. New Resident Evil Village content added, announced for Stadia. So it looks like Stadia is seeing some support from AAA developers. New Resident Evil Village content has been announced for Stadia. Capcom had a show last night where they aired this. You see this? The new, it's called the Winter Update. And you see the Stadia logo right here. It's coming to Stadia October 28th, 2022, per their announcement. And from what I understand, it was in their press release as well. So not only did they announce it last night on their Capcom show, but it's in their press release as well that this new update is coming to Stadia. But here's the thing, Cowboy. What all, and we had this conversation on your show, what actually has been released elsewhere? Like, I'm gonna give GFN, I'm gonna say GFN has had the most AAAs. I say the lineup over the last 12 months has been, as far as AAAs, has been the best for them. You know what I'm saying? But again, I don't like every, just because it's AAA don't mean it's good. Like, for instance, we look over the last 12 months, the notable games that were on GFN was Kenna. It looked pretty. I don't care about that. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, I'll give them that. Dying Light 2. Okay, I'll give them that. Evil Dead, I didn't care of, right? Do they have Elden Ring? If they would have had Elden Ring, that would have been something. That's really not my game, but like, oh hell, they got that. You know what I'm saying? There's really nothing on the platform over the last 12 months that interests me. I play for myself. That's like you handing me, again, you heard this scenario before, Cowboy. You walking down the street, me and you walking together, right? We're laughing and joking, and you got a breakfast sandwich in your hand. And you say to me, hey, bite into this sandwich and tell me if I like it. I'm looking at you like, excuse me? I'm married and you're married. No, thank you. Like, I can't judge something based off of what your likes are. I'm judging it based off of my likes. And the games that I want to play, which mainly are the Ubisoft games, are there on Stadia. When I look at other games that are available, I'm looking at their lineup. I'm looking at GFN's lineup, and I'm like, okay, I would want to play Dying Light 2. I would want to play Mass Effect Trilogy. That's it. That's literally it. When I look at Xbox, it's nothing. There's nothing on Xbox I would want to play. When I look at Luna, there's nothing. There's nothing that I would want to play. When I look at Stadia, there's not a whole bunch there. But this year we got Rainbow Six Extraction. We got we got World War Z, which again was dropped in the Stadia Pro. We're about to get that new Resident Evil for Capcom. So there's not a lot anywhere, is my argument. There's not a lot anywhere. And Stadia still has the leg up as far as my taste is concerned. So when you talk about, oh, the games, that's subjective. Like if you would rank something else higher, that's great. And then we got to get beyond the games. It doesn't matter to me how many games you have if the product doesn't play well or doesn't fit well for me. Like GFN, if GFN was, if the experience was smooth, if the 3080 tier, for instance, was cost effective, if I didn't have issues with the UI and all that, I could just get in it and I got the same consistent performance no matter where I gamed, whether it was in the office, on my Chromebook now, on a dongle, I would give it to you. But I don't care where these games are at if I can't enjoy where they're being played from. So that's what I'm saying. This is all subjective. You ask me how I would rank them. So I'm giving you my individual taste. And there are not a lot of games else. There wasn't a lot of games elsewhere that were elsewhere that I didn't enjoy. Like I don't care about Gasoline Simulator. I didn't care about Biomutant. The bigger name games, I didn't care about Guardians of the Galaxy. I really didn't care about that game. I'm glad that it got some good accolades, but nobody's really talking about that game anymore. I didn't care about Evil Dead. I cared about Dying Light 2, but on the flip side of that, I got World War Z and more Capcom stuff coming. And then I get to play Madden, which gets a lot of my attention on the platform as well. Really, my time is split between Madden and Division. If I'm not playing Division, I'm playing Madden. So, I mean, I don't know, brother. I mean, I just, that's why I had asked you guys when I was on the show, like, what really came out? The problem, and really probably the best thing for Stadia, honestly, is that this is happening now. That like this lull is happening now because there really isn't a lot coming out. And you still get the Ubisoft games, so there's still stuff to play. But that's huge. And in a moment where there's a lull, if you're a sole cloud gamer and you don't have access to Stadia, you're missing out on, I would say, of the biggest content coming this year, which is those additions to Resident Evil Village. That's huge. You're missing out. That Resident Evil content is bigger than anything that any cloud platform got. Maybe not Dying Light 2. Maybe not. But being that, what's it called? Sold 6.2 million. Capcom is beloved. And you're getting this additional content. Like the only thing that can rival this new Capcom content maybe is Dying Light 2. And I'm just talking about from a general consumer's perspective. That new Capcom content is huge. But what else is coming out this year? Dude, you're talking about number of games. Luna got a bunch of games. You're talking about a number of games. Let's put these games up here. Let's do this. And again, you're in the mind, Cowboy. I have talked to the staunchest Xbox fanboys, and they don't give a crap about those 30 games. They could care less. They don't care about those games. They're angry. from a cloud perspective where we pick up the crumbs, okay, you're happy with those. But even the general Xbox gamer, they were like, ugh. They don't care about those games. And it's not just about play. Everybody is not. I get where volume gets a lot of you guys, excuse my French. I get where volume gets a lot of you guys creamy knuckle, right? I get it. But you got to understand where I come from. It's not about volume. It's about quality. I don't care. I don't even remember those 30 games because I don't care about them. And the average gamer necessarily ain't going to care about them either. And guess what? More gamers think like me than they do gamers that just want to play everything. That's just the reality of it. I'm sorry. Outside of Forza, Starfield, and I didn't really like the look of what's that first game? Because I don't like Arcane Studios. The only game I like from them is Deathloop. But Red, whatever that is. But outside of Diablo 4, which is a multiplat, but that's not coming to the cloud for Xbox. But I'll say outside of Forza and outside of Starfield, which I don't know how Forza is going to play, but I definitely don't want to play Starfield on xCloud. Hell no. It looks like it's having problems on powerful hardware. I don't want to play that on xCloud. Hell no. Let me pull up my sheets. Now it's we're talking into 2023 mainly, opposed to 2022, because we don't know what's coming in 2023 for Stadia. We have no idea. We don't even know what's coming for the rest of 2022. I'm just telling you, as far as everything that's been announced, it's not fair for us to sit there and say all this stuff about Stadia when we don't know everything that's coming out. You know what I mean? But if you want to go off everything that's announced, like I said, over that entire list, Resident Evil's content is still bigger than anything that's coming in 2022 on that list. And you're talking about stuff that's coming on an inferior cloud service that I don't enjoy playing. That really makes it a non-conversation for me, because out of everything that I've played on there, I've only had a good experience with 2 games. Let's see, Google Sheets. Oh boy. Let's see if I can pull out Google Sheets. Go to Sheets. All right, here we go. Gaming show spreadsheet. Let's put it up here. Let's put it up here for my brother Cowboy. That's what y'all got to understand. I'm happy that y'all like this stuff, but y'all are in the minority. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. Call up Daniel Lamont. I'll hook you up with him. Call up Daniel Lamont and say, Daniel, I hate that you're a gaming analyst that has been doing this for a decade and a half, and that you've been right and you've been nailing this down. And I hate the fact that the average gamer only buys 2 games a year and it only has 7 games in their catalog. I hate that you said that. You got to take that up with Daniel Lamar. You can't take that up with MM2K. Most gamers think like me, or they're closer to me. I don't want to say they exactly think like me, because I'll get more than 2 games a year. I have more than 7 games in my catalog. All right, so here's how I rank this, right? I didn't like Redfall. Again, you're asking me what I thought. I didn't like Redfall. It just looked generic to me. I don't like Arcane Studios The only game that, again, I've liked from them was Deathloop, and I think that game is fantastic. Hollow Knight, 3.5. High Life, 3.7. I think that Riot Games, but that has nothing to do with the cloud. I thought that Riot Games joining Game Pass was dope, but that had nothing to do with the cloud. Plague Tale, 3.7. Forza, I gave 4.2 because I'm not big on racing games, and this is all out of 5. This is all out of 5. Just so people are aware, so they don't think that I'm like, this is 3.7 out of 10. This is all out of 5. I gave Forza 4.2. Flight Sim, I don't care about. Overwatch, that's not coming to the cloud. ESO, I got access to. The Pit, I don't care about that. Forza Hot Wheels, whatever. Arc 2023, again, I ain't seen no gameplay. Scorn, I'm not impressed by. Flintlock, whatever. Minecraft Legends, that seems cute, whatever, 3.8. Lightyear Frontier, 3.6. Gunfire Reborn, that was all right, 3.7. Benedict Fox, that didn't do nothing for me. From Dusk Falls, no, I don't know. Naraka, 3.8, all right. Pentiment, 3.5. Grounded actually looked better than what I thought it was going to be, but no, I'm not playing that. Airband, 3.8, all right. Diablo 4, 4.5. Sea of Thieves, hell no, but I gave it a 3.5. Ravenlock, 3.6. Wolong, that's 2023, but 3.8. There's no gameplay. I like that Team Ninja's doing that, but there's no gameplay. Persona Bundle, 3.7. I played all those Persona, and to me, those are the bottom of the barrel of the Persona games. No. Kojima Cloud game, I don't even know what it is. Y'all love Kojima. I like him for the Resident Evil games. He's still got to make up for Death Stranding. To me, that's me, all right? And then I gave Starfield 4.5, but I don't want to play that on xCloud. I'm getting that for PC. I wouldn't dare play that on xCloud. It would be like 2.5 frames per second. So again, if you're asking me, that's what I'm getting. And that's why. And that's no cap, because I made this list before you even asked me. And again, all this filler stuff outside of Redfall, outside of the known games, all this filler stuff, Cowboy. Again, the average gamer isn't like all of you that are listening to this or even know that this show exists. They're more like me. So I don't think it's too off the wall for me to just see a bunch of games and be like, whatever. Because I curate what I play, and none of this stuff excited me. I wasn't excited about anything except for Diablo 4, which ain't coming to the cloud except for probably maybe GFN and maybe Xbox later. That would be dope. Now that would pique my interest. And Starfield, hell no, I'm not playing that on xCloud. No, I'm getting that for PC. I'm never touching that in the cloud. I don't want to throw up. So that's why. It says, but I could say, who cares about Resident Evil? But see, you're asking me, Cowboy. You can't ask that. You ask me. You ask, that's the point that you're missing. You're going against my options, right? You're going against what I like, but you ask me what I would rank it for my own personal taste. And I think that's what we have to stop doing. We have to stop judging people because they don't look at gaming the same way that I do. If y'all love this, I don't care. That's great that y'all love this. But I know what I like. I'm not going to sit there, hate spaghetti all my life, but see 20 people eating spaghetti in the corner, be like, ooh, I want some. I don't work like that. I could care less what anybody else likes. I like what I like. So you ask me what I like. I know I sound like a 5-year-old. You ask me. And because you ask me, that's what I like. So it doesn't matter what people say about Resident Evil. I'm just letting you know that more people are going to care about Resident Evil than they're going to care about any of this filler crap up here. outside of Starfield, Redfall, Diablo 4, and maybe Wolong. But if you ask me, I don't care about any of that stuff. You can tell by my rankings. 3.5 and the average is what? What's the average ranking for this? 3.68. 3.68 out of 5. I wasn't impressed. I don't care about that stuff. When I had Game Pass, I got Game Pass because there were games in there that interested me that I didn't have to buy. And when I say games that interested me, it might have been one or two at a time that I wanted to try. Yes, that's why they had hundreds of games. I didn't care about all those other games. I'm not one of those country and buffet gamers where I just, there's a bunch of stuff. No, if it don't interest me, I don't care about it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of this stuff don't interest me. So if you ask me, okay, this is me and the 5-year-old voice. If you ask me, no, I'm not interested by any of that stuff. I don't care. Starfield is coming next year. Let's just say if Diablo 4 comes, it's not coming till after June, because that's when they expect the deal to go through. Redfall, I'm not even interested in that. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just too generic. It's just generic for me. I won't even waste my time. That's just me. I don't like Arcane. I don't. Except for Deathloop. It's the only thing I like. And I think PlayStation stepped in and got them to curate that and fix it. And they kind of alluded to that. So that's why I like Deathloop. I was really surprised at how much I like Deathloop. But I can't answer for anybody else. Only thing I can say is data proves, if you want me to answer at a more holistic level, the only thing I can say is that data shows that more gamers are like me as far as the number of games that interest them and the type of games that interest them, opposed to being gamers that just like to pick up a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So you're asking me to be honest. Do you see what I put up here? Cowboy, you're driving me crazy. Do you see what I put up here, Cowboy? You're driving me crazy. And you gotta get out of this prism. See, this is the thing that we're running into when y'all are having these Stadia conversations that really lock a lot of people out. I'm not being dishonest because I don't agree with you. I don't need you to bite into my sandwich and tell me what I'm supposed to like. Prove to me otherwise, Cowboy, that I would play this stuff. Where have you seen me play anything like this that you see on the screen? When you go through my content, I'm constantly, it's the same. It's okay that you like this stuff and I don't. It doesn't make it dishonest. And that's where I think we're getting out of the prism of understanding how to interact with the gaming community. When people don't think like us, there's a hint of dishonesty being thrown on it. Anybody that's followed my content know that this stuff has always been crap to me. Y'all know that I've always never liked Arcane Studios. Y'all have heard me say that for years. Y'all never seen me hype any of these games. Anything like it. I never hyped Plague Tale 1. I'm not hyping this one. I've never hyped any stuff like this. Y'all have heard me before show a newfound interest in Diablo. Y'all know my love and my hate and love fest for Starfield. Y'all gotta get out. This is what I'm saying. And Cowboy, you should know better. You should know. I should have a horn that wah wah wah. You should know better because we are of the same age, and your gaming lineage is as long as mine. You should know better that gamers come in different shapes and forms, and as far as what they like and what they enjoy, we are not a monolith. We never walked outside of the arcade and looked at the tabletop gamers and slapped all their pieces off the table and said, oh, what the hell are you doing? This ain't how you game. We never went to anybody playing Rampage in the arcade and said, no, the only thing you should be playing is Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter. We never did that. We enjoyed the fact that everybody was gaming and appreciated everybody's different gaming tastes. And I'm telling you, if you follow my content, this has been what my content has been. So it proves to me, shame on you twice over, you ain't been following my damn content. Shame on you, cowboy. I'm hurt. I'm hurt on the inside. And also, it's okay that you did like it, but if you want to get holistic in the conversation, I got to tell you. If that's what you're trying to do is get holistic in the conversation, what I do have to tell you is, I'm sorry, but more gamers are closer to me than they are to people that like to play a lot of games. They are. So that's why, and I only bring that up to not to discredit what you like to do, but just to say, I double down on my choices. Now, I double down to say, really, if you look at it holistically, my take on this is not outside of the average gamer's realm. The problem is the average gamer ain't listening to no podcast. The average gamer ain't sitting there doing a podcast for 3 hours with my wife probably turned face down, just waiting for me to get the hell off. They're not doing that. So you don't hear from these people. So you don't understand, not you necessarily, cowboy, but I'm saying the average hardcore gamer don't understand their mind state. They don't think like that. Like I got friends that I know that game and I tell them, watch the podcast. They'll never watch the podcast. They don't give a damn about what I'm doing here. They just want to boot up a game, play it for 45 minutes, go about their business, rinse and repeat. So if you look at it holistically, there's more gamers that look at it my way. And they look at all this stuff as just as filler. Now you can say, you MM2K, you're not a true hardcore gamer. Okay, well, I'll like Redman said, I'll be that, But I know what I like and I'm not being dishonest. This is the score that I gave stuff. I just don't, it's filler to me and I don't play it. And it's not interesting to me at all. The only other thing that might semi-interest me is kind of sort of is Plague's Tale. I've heard good stuff about it, but when I was on Scrampunk's podcast and they brought it up, I said, yeah, it looks cool, but I ain't playing it. Noah was trying to convince me to play it, and I was like, nah, I ain't playing that. You gotta listen to my content, man. This is the stuff that I just don't care for this stuff. And you don't see me playing, look, to be honest with you don't see me playing every Stadia game. Right? Like out of all these games that Stadia have dropped, which ones have you seen me playing? Which ones have you seen me talk about outside of them dropping in the news? I'm just looking at the entire landscape and I'm like, there's really not a lot anywhere coming. So that's why I'm happy. Okay, GFN got Dying Light 2. We got World War Z and Resident Evil stuff coming over here. They got Dying Light 2 and Mass Effect Trilogy. We got those two over here. Amazon Luna, what did they get? They got something that interested me. I haven't tried it out yet, but I got them. Xbox, really nothing. The only two games that interested me for Xbox was Tunic, and I've talked about Tunic for years. I said that really interested me. Tunic, the Gunk, I talked about the Gunk since it was released at E3, and Halo Infinite. I don't really care for Halo Infinite. Don't care for it. It hasn't grasped my attention. Just don't care for it. The gunk, very disappointing. Didn't like that game. I think we got to bet. I was jealous at first that, I'll be honest, I was jealous at first that we didn't get the gunk. I was like, damn, they got the better game. Like, why everybody keep hating on Stadia, son? Why can't we get the gunk? I played the gunk, was not impressed by it at all. I didn't like the game. Tunic, I still got to try though. Still got to try Tunic. Because I was impressed by that game. Even when fellow Xbox people were like, "Oh no, forget that game." I'm like, "Nah, I'm a hop on that. I really like that." So I like it. Tunic interested me. I still got to hop on Tunic. I kind of lost interest in it. I don't know why, but I'm still gonna try that game. I can't say nothing bad about it or good about it until I try it. That game interested me. But you know what it was? When I got soured on Halo Infinite. And when I got soured on the gunk, because them two games, I really was like, this is going to make me appreciate xCloud more. When I got soured on those two games, I'm going to be honest with you. I just said screw it on Tunic. But if you follow my content, you know that. That was it for Xbox in 2022. Outside of, I would have tried Redfall. Didn't interest me. Doesn't interest me at all. Now that I've seen, I would have tried Starfield until I've seen it. But I'm not playing. And Starfield, my mind was made up. If I was going to get it, I'm getting it for PC. So that's it. Once I found out Halo Infinite, I didn't like it. The gunk was trash to me. I just let my Game Pass lapse, and then what else am I going to like for the rest of the year? He said, "Geek, I've added massive value to the show. That's what I do." No, Cowboy's my brother. Y'all know that. I hate. Hold on, stop doing. I can't see his comment, and I'm going to let you live. But the next time you show up on my stream, is on. I dig it, brother. I dig it. He says, "I'm looking as the overall value when I see xCloud bringing those many games." Yeah, I'm not a volume person. I never was a volume person. If I was a volume person, I would have never came to Stadia, because one thing that I did understand from Stadia early on was that Stadia wasn't getting everything. I remember that GameIndustry.biz article from the beginning. They weren't getting everything. They said they weren't going to be the Wild Wild West. I remember that from the beginning, and I appreciated that. And then when I saw the games they were bringing over, even the indie games, and then NLED, shout out to the brother NLED. NLED helped me see that even further. When NLED did the what's it called, of the indie games, the Metacritic, and they were like high 70s. I was like, okay, they are curating the best of the best. They're only going for the best of the best. Okay, cool. Now, granted, we're in 2022. The games that have released are far below that Metacritic. So I get it. And then we only at 28, even though it is similar to 2020. We're only at 28. I get that too. So I get where other people might look elsewhere. I get where people would look elsewhere. I don't blame y'all for that at all. I don't think it's a bad thing that you are looking elsewhere. You got to speak with your wallet. It's just that I don't just look at number of games. That never excited me. I'm always a real tight curator. I'm not a big buffet person either. Like when I go to Country Inn Buffet, Cowboy, I get the same stuff. I get roasted chicken, I get corn, and I get sesame chicken. That's it. And I might get some fried chicken. That's it. I eat the same stuff. I don't go, oh, I gotta try this. Oh, I know what I like and I stick to what I like. I'm a very simple person. I've been gaming for 35 plus years. I know what I like. I don't need to adventure out and try. Now, if something interests me, if y'all can package it in a certain way, like I'm gonna tell you, there's a game called Homeland that's made by Insomniac. It's a VR game. I have no interest in VR. I'm waiting for that game to be dropped on PC, and I might get a VR set and I'll try that. Like there are some exceptions to the rule, but I'm not interested by everything. You know what I mean? But that Resident Evil Village, man, that's a big deal to me coming. Because I really like that game and I don't see it coming to any other cloud platform. That's huge to me. And until I hear more, like just really, what else are you looking forward to the end of the year? And not just you, Cowboy, the whole chat. What are y'all looking forward to the end of the year? There's really nothing that y'all know about coming except for God of War. So I'm really relying on the Ubisoft games. I'm wondering when Heartlands is coming. I'm wondering when X Defiant is coming. Now the Avatar, I ain't never watched the damn movie. I don't know. I'm not interested in that at all. But oh God, that's powerful. Yep. All right. So what are we? We're almost 3 hours. Let's do one last piece. Are we getting reverse or what? Yeah. Yeah. Reverse is part of that. Reverse is part of that. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's what's hurting me with Xbox. Like it goes beyond not me not being excited over these games. Like I'm gonna tell you the truth, Cowboy. Now we were having this conversation in 2023 and Stadia was going through a lull in 2023. I might be with you if xCloud play better. They gotta get xCloud to play. Look, here's the thing. I am not paying $15 for a service just to play it, nor am I getting caught up in you can do the a la carte games, which I'm paying $15 before I even get to a la carte games if the service isn't consistent enough. I don't even want to waste my time. I'm grandfathered into, let's look at it this way. I'm grandfathered into Amazon Luna Plus at $5.99 a year, $5.99 a month. You can't beat that with a stick. So I'll stay there. It's $6. It's for me. It's two Trenta iced coffees or something, or cold brews or something, or 2 Trenta ice green teas. That's something that I like to buy from Starbucks. Also, for GFN, I'm grandfathered into the priority. So that's only $5 a month for me. So for $11 a month, I'm grandfathered into 2 services that are there if I need them, but are not really services that I use. Not a problem. I'd be damned if I pay $15 a month. But see, those 2 services, they're going to play well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may think Luna plays better than GFN, but those play well. They both play well. I'll be damned if I pay $15 a month for a service that, this game is shoddy, that game is shoddy, this game is shoddy. No. Hell to the no. And until xCloud gets more consistent and they improve their infrastructure, it's really not even fair me talking about them, because I'm always going to talk about xCloud from a negative slant, because it's not going to matter what's going to be there. Like, they could get God of War Ragnarok on xCloud. They could have every single PlayStation game on there for $5.99. I won't give a damn. It has to play better. That's just my take. All right. We've been here for a very long time. Cowboy has distracted us. We're going to do this. And then I get to thank Cowboy for taking away my time and I haven't been able to game. All right. Now let's go back here. Okay. That's the blog. That's this. I want to show you guys something. Let me show you something. And now we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to talk about the Stadia op-ed. Okay. So there's this guy. He wrote this article about Stadia. And it says, Google Stadia is dead. Long live Google Stadia. And it's basically his assertion is, and he's Corbin Davenport, software developer, news editor for How To Geek, right? And here's his notion that he likes Stadia. He enjoys it, but he's fed into the hyperbole that's out there by the journos from the Stadia, because he's a fellow journo as well. And that's that immersive stream is coming to gobble up Stadia. Stadia is going to die, and Stadia is only going to live as immersive stream. That's why he says Stadia is dead, long live Stadia. For those of you that have been following my content, unlike Cowboy, shame on you, Cowboy. No, I'm just joking. For those of you that have been following my content, y'all know that immersive stream isn't positioned like that. You guys have looked at it from 5,000 feet. We talked about it, how immersive stream is many things, but one of the things that it is a catalyst, a marketing catalyst to help get people to play Stadia without them knowing. And that's like the fourth wall when it comes to cloud gaming. Now, if you want to argue if the strategy is going to work, like shout out to Clayton Young when he was live on, when we were premiering Weekly Checkup. He was debating me in the chat about that. Go check it out. It's a great debate. But I couldn't like say you're wrong. I mean, I was like, yeah, you're wrong. But I couldn't say you're a foul, you're out of bounds. I couldn't say that because this is all guessing. We don't know what's going to work. I'm throwing out precedent. He's giving his opinion. We're going to see what works. That's a fathomable discussion to have, I feel. But to sit there and assert that the goal is to close down Stadia, that's foolish, because Stadia's grand purpose is to be a platform that's merged with YouTube so gamers and game watchers can interact. All this stuff that's happening in the early years are just preliminary, meant to build up the platform, but it's not where the platform's apex is. We're going to look back at all this conversation and all this activity and all this infighting and back and forth, and we're going to laugh at it and say, you see how silly we were? So siloed in our focus, just thinking about these early years when it was a lot bigger than that. Can you remember that? Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be insane when we take a look back at how silly we were in our notions at this time. But he's fallen into this loop, and I'm not going to click on the article, not because I don't want to give it. I already read the article, but I don't want to go through it because we're running short out of time. So somebody asked him, can you please share a link where Google says it's stopping with Stadia and shifting to Google Stream for publishers? Otherwise, this is nothing more than tabloid trash. And really, I can't ignore him. And he gives you, all he does is gives you the SG&E post where that's not what they said. They said in the SG&E post, we're closing down SG&E, not Stadia. And we're still giving you great games, and you're still going to continue to get great games. And even in the more recent, so here's what amazes me, because later in our conversation, this guy says that I'm going off of propaganda, and I'm using just because I know how to, because I'm going specifically off of what they say and what they do. Like everything that they've outlined in that letter, they've done. And they talked about, again, how they are going to continue to provide and get games that people want to play on Stadia. So he's going on. And I asked him, I said, I wonder what data you're looking at. I mean, cloud gaming in total is a 1% business. It's only a small part of the market. But when you look at engagement for those in that demo beyond Google Stadia on trends, and that was a snot remark for me, because he went on trends and typed in Google Stadia to prove how bad Stadia was. But here, let me do something right, or how lackluster Google Stadia was. But let me do something right here. Now, again, there is no doubt that Stadia hold on, let me do this. There's no doubt that Stadia, in regards to let's see here, GFN, there's a lot more oh no, that's web search. Hold on. Oh no, I used the wrong thing. Geforce now. I was about to say, I know that's not right. Okay. There's no doubt that Geforce Now has dominated web searches, and there could be many reasons for that. And then we're going to do Luna. So here's the problem, right? And I want to show you guys this. This is an actual showing, just going off of web searches for these platforms. Now, when you want to extrapolate data and see the trends on who's doing what, you got to do more than web searches. Like, there's other things that you got to look at too, right? You can look for news or whatever the case may be. You got to go beyond this app. And that's what Jack Deslip does. Jack Deslip is fantastic at extrapolating data and providing that information and showing you that the total engagement for Stadia is growing, right? Even though the pace that it's growing at may be slowing down, and reasonably so, because what? They really haven't, there's not much news out there. They haven't really put much out there. So that makes sense. But when you look at their peers, which is Luna and xCloud, they're nowhere close, even if you just use this litmus, which isn't a good litmus. When you look at Geforce Now, its web searches are at 48 on the scale. Stadia is now around 20. xCloud and Luna, like, Stadia is 4 times them. Like, stop it. What are you talking about? So the assertion is just a farce altogether. And I explained to him, I says, you got to look past just putting Google Stadia on trends. Like, compare them to their peers. Even though this is a poor litmus, but it shows you where they're at as far as engagement. Like, I feel that GFN has more engagement. As far as using this as a litmus, you could argue that this is because more people are trying to go onto GFN that normally don't use the service and trying to find out where GFN is. You know what I'm saying? Or how you get access to GFN. Like, every time I use GFN, I don't use the app. I use I search on the browser, and I always forget what the website is to get on GFN. I always do. Right? When it comes to Stadia, it's easy. It's Stadia.com. So there is no web search. Right? You could make that argument, but nonetheless, still, you can't take anything away from GFN. Even when you extrapolate all the other data, GFN and Stadia, when you even everything out, GFN and Stadia have the highest engagement in the cloud. You can't take anything away from GFN on that front, right? But Xbox and Luna ain't even close. They're not close. Like, Luna is doing better than Xbox if you want to use the same litmus, my friend. If you want to use the same litmus, Corbin, and then during his conversation with me, Corbin tells me that that Stadia's main competitor is Xbox. No, it ain't. It's Luna. Those are the two that are eyeballing each other the most. Why? Because those two are the most similar. They may have different models, but they both have streaming services. Their streaming services are going to catapult them to those billion gamers. Luna more so than Stadia because Twitch is bigger than Google Gaming, right? That I'll concede. Even though I think Stadia is going to do well in this front, I think ultimately Luna has the bigger catapult. But I talked further with this guy, and I say, look, I hate to pop up everywhere. Just trying to ensure for unsuspecting readers complete context here. The closure of SG&E did not signify the end of Stadia. Business to business was a focus before launch. One can argue it grew in scope, but the closure assertion is false. I give him a link to this. Remember this? Y'all know this because I play it all the time. Yep, with Jeff Keighley and Phil Harrison. I gave him a link to that, and I showed him the most recent blog from Stadia, from Dov Zimmering about them continuing to grow Stadia. This was his response. The complete context is that SG&E closing, Bloomberg reports about Google stopping subsidizing big budget ports and other factors paint a poor picture for Stadia's future. Focusing on Google's PR speak isn't helpful context. So it's helpful context to go and talk about hearsay. This is what he's telling you. It's helpful context to focus on hearsay. You can't name your sources and all this other stuff. And that the only thing that you can derive from this is that they're not paying for big budget ports anymore when nobody's paying for big budget ports anymore. So you rather paint a picture with that than go from the horse's mouth and actually bump it up against the things that they've done. So I said, oh, okay, that's where we rolling pimping. I got you. I said, but here's one of the things that I said. I said, but here's the peculiar part. Luna has not received any big titles either this year. They have way less engagement to Stadia. Going off of his poor litmus here. They have way less engagement to Stadia, right? In the cloud realm, but you write this, quote, the good news, if you like new things, is that cloud gaming as a concept is sticking around. Amazon Luna. Huh? And he says, yes, I was listing other cloud services. The very next sentence I mentioned Xbox seems to be the main contender. Which they're not. Using his poor litmus, they're not. But I didn't even go there with him because we already had him in a rabbit hole. No, the point. Not the point. How can you criticize Stadia, who sees way more engagement, has been more vocal than Luna, who also suffers from the lack of big titles this year, yet call their service good news? It shows a misguided viewpoint of Stadia, one that doesn't judge versus his peers. Oh, I say cloud gaming as a concept is sticking around. What's good news? Not a specific service being good news. Okay, fine. Let's take the biggest knife out of the drawer and cut the BS out. First, but what indication do you see from Stadia that they are leaving retail? No other cloud platform experience. From no other cloud platform experience. Minimum saturation, that's all of them. They're a 1% business. No big titles, Luna. Stop paying big money for ports, none of their peers do. Wasn't sustainable. 2 out of 2. I'm not saying the platform is perfect. Stadia hoped to entice devs to port without the big money by getting 1 million active users. They fell short. They focused on the thing that has allowed their peers to get games easier, porting. Everything shown speaks to a pivot, not a wind down. And guess what? Crickets. He decided to go and argue with people his point where they wouldn't challenge him. This is the conjecture writing that I referred to earlier that is symptomatic when it comes to gaming news. And that's why I say, I don't care how this pans out game cloud-wise. Analysts could come out tomorrow and say, no, we got new projections. Cloud gaming isn't going anywhere. And all of these businesses can then stop doing what they're doing. I don't care. The number one thing that I got from this, next to meeting y'all, all you lovely people, the number one thing that I got from this is that these journalists don't know what the hell they're talking about. xCloud is the main competitor. We're going by your even going by your poor litmus that showed that of Google flatlining. They're not nowhere near as bad as xCloud. Why didn't you pull that up? How are they the main competitor? If you knew what you was talking about, you would have said GFN. You don't know what the hell you're writing about. Clearly. Secondly, they've doubled down on their assertions with Stadia. Even when presented with the truth, the best they can do is say, oh, it's PR talk. But you'll believe anything that Xbox says. Xbox says they're going to. You believe Xbox is the main competitor because of what they said. You didn't look back at the things that they said they were going to do that they kept pushing back or they failed on. So you'll believe one company's PR talk over another company's PR talk. You see how these journalists are tainted. And why you gotta use immersive stream to attract people to Stadia, because if you use the Stadia name, they come up with garbage like this. This is garbage. Because he doesn't even know what he's talking about. Using his own litmus, he contradicted himself. xCloud is his main competitor. They're not even above Luna. What are you talking about? Stop it. These are the modern day journos that I tell you got to look out for. This is why you can't trust them. And it's why I don't. Shout out to the homie. Uh-oh, what's going on here? How come it's not showing it? Geek to Sneak. Uh-oh, that's weird. Someone didn't show it. Uh-oh, what's happened here? Something's happened where it's not showing. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Now I won't show Geek to Sneak. Shout out to Geek to Sneak. He joined. Oh, come on, man. Don't do this. It's a $10 super chat from Geek to Sneak. My bad, Geek. It's not even showing. It says, big shout out to AT&T for giving me 6 free months of Stadia Pro and GFN priority. They obviously believe and support cloud gaming. Yeah. And then you got Capcom, who in addition are still supporting the platform. I don't think you see this from Capcom if it isn't for the relationship with immersive stream. I don't think you see some of the things that you see from Xbox, even though Xbox got to pay, but I don't think you see some of the groundbreaking things that they were able to do with some of these partners because of the relationship that these people have with Xbox. You got to build relationships. There has to be something fruitful that's happened between you two. And when there's fruitful things, then more things can happen. Hey, can you put this game on? Or can you make sure that you get this game on our platform, this new expansion? Yeah, sure. We'll do that. So come on. Immersive stream is vital to Stadia. to Stadia retail, and Stadia retail is going to grow because of it. But don't listen to these journos. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just make up stuff, and I don't know why they do it. Now, let me go here. Something happened here. Uh-oh. Yes, okay. Yeah, I see here with the chat. Something weird happened. All right, there we go. Sorry, Geek to Sneak, but thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. Destiny 2 Division. Yeah, it sounds like AAA Stadia titles. Yeah, I mean, Tommy Rock says they're old, yes, but half of them are old to age on the shelf. But again, there's not a lot of like Tommy, you and I, we're playing Division 2. Like there really isn't, I mean, we got to be honest, there isn't a lot of great stuff that has come out. I can understand if, let's just say if Wukong came out and Forspoken was, if we had like a crap fest of games coming out, then I get it. Then yeah, I'd be with you looking like, golly, these mugs is behind. I'd be with you. But there really ain't a lot of good stuff coming out. Like this is, I hate to say it. There's been some diamonds in the rough here and there, but overall, it's been kind of sad on the gaming side. And that's because of COVID and other things. It's been kind of sad. There really hasn't been any pure gems, and now they're remaking everything. Everything's being remade. Like people are like, oh man, that Resident Evil 4. Me and Tommy was talking about this. I think Tommy wanted me to move it in front of a moving truck. He couldn't believe what I was saying, but I got to say it again here. I'd rather have the Resident Evil content than Resident Evil 4. That may sound crazy. I already played Resident Evil 4. I'm done with it, son. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm ready to move on. For nostalgia, if my choice is now, in addition to new innovative ideas, you're giving me Resident Evil 4 like a fat kid in a candy store, fat kid in the cake shop. But if this is what I'm getting instead of new experiences, nah, son. Nah, son. I'm not going for it. That says a lot. People, we want to talk about this and we want to forget about this. And I just, I get it. 28 games. We're 6.5 months into the year. And a lot of people are like, we going through this again? I get it. And gaming is a selfish hobby. You got to do what's good for you. But here's the thing that's driving me crazy at times, is that journalists are phrasing this as the end of Stadia. When are y'all going to get over that? Y'all going to be saying it's the end of Stadia in 2027. Like, get over it. Like, I saw somebody now that used to say that Stadia was going to end in 2022. Now they pushed it back 2 years. Now they say 2024. Like, the thing that's killing me is that instead of calling this, you could still be critical of what's going on. You could still be negative about it. But don't go overboard. That's my issue, is going overboard. You can say, Stadia dropped the ball. Stadia is dry. They's as dry as an ashy person in the sun. It's dry out here, son. It's pathetic. You can say it's pathetic, pitiful. Stadia's looking bad as far as delivering for its consumers. You can say all that stuff, and you know what? I ain't gonna be mad at you because that's how you feel. But that's you taking the fact that there's only 28 games out so far and looking at the reality of how people are feeling about that fact, but staying within the facts. I may look at it differently, but I can't be mad at you about that. Where you go too far, where these people like Corbin are going too far, is where y'all say It's dying. Y'all been saying this for the last 3 years and it's not dying. It's just persisting. Stop it. All you're doing is shooting yourselves in the foot because people don't forget. Like Tom Warren, like if, God bless him, Paul Tassi might be different. But people like Tom, because Paul Tassi knows how to not be a jerk about it, but he's been wrong about stuff and I put him to task. And I like Paul. Paul ain't blocked me because I took him to task. He tried to take me to task. I like Paul. Even though I don't agree with nothing that he says, but I like Paul. Paul's a cool dude, right? But people like Tom Warren and others, when this cloud gaming stuff and Stadia starts to take off, nobody's going to listen to y'all. They're not. Because people aren't going to forget. They're going to be like, oh, that Tom Warren dude, oh, that was the guy. They're going to keep hitting you. They're going to pull out your old tweets. Is this you? That's how the game, don't get mad at me. That's how the game works. You don't like it, you got to play somewhere else. These journalists don't understand how they're killing the credibility. People like, what's his name? Ron Armedia of Ars Technica. I think that's his name. You guys are killing your credibility with this foolishness. I want to show you guys one more thing. And then I'm going to turn the mic back over to y'all. And then I got to go to my wife before she kills me. I just want to show y'all something. No, I think I actually got it here. Let me see if I can. There was something else that he said. Hold on, let me see here. Oh. So he says it paints a poor picture. What he had said is that this paints a poor picture for those that don't look behind. He said this paints a poor picture that SG&E closed, that Bloomberg put reports out there about Google not paying for big budget ports. They're not supposed to. They weren't. No, that wasn't sustainable, and their peers aren't doing it. But anyway, and he says focusing on the Google PR speak isn't helpful context, right? So I'm a fool for taking what Google is saying, bouncing it against what they're doing, and saying, look, you're way off base just by putting in conjecture. Look at what they said they're going to do. Look at what they're doing. Here's what it actually means. I'm a fool for that, right? I'm a fool. I'm just being a fanboy, right? I'm a fool. Let's take that into consideration. MM2K is a fool. Let's play devil's advocate. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I'm just a fanboy. I'm a fanboy simply because I took what Google said opposed to what Google is dead or what they're doing. I understand that this takes time because I understand how things in gaming works. And I said, look, it's going to be a while before we judge the results, but this is what they're working towards. And because things are not coming to fruition now, that's understandable because it takes time. I'm a fool, right? I'm a fool. Because I did that. Remember that. Because he said, focusing on Google's PR speak isn't helpful context. I'm a fool for listening to the PR speak. All right. So here's what I alert him to, which I know he wasn't aware of because he ain't done his research. I said it paints a poor picture for those that don't look behind the surface. Kind of a non-journalist thing to do. So I had to, punch him in the gut a little bit. Subsidized big budget ports were only to mitigate the cumbersome porting process. That is being addressed now with other incentives for devs. Stadia keynote both 2021 and 2022. Bet you he didn't even see him. Because I know he didn't see him. How do I know he didn't see him? How do I know? Because he alluded pretty much in so many words, and I'm a fool for listening to what Stadia said. However, This PR speak was enough for GameIndustry.biz. And we know who they are. Constant critics of the platform, mind you, where they said, see attached. Where they said, see attached. The continued promotion of these features, the new wave of incentives to get more developers on board as pro partners, and that 85-15 revenue share lasting until 2023 suggests that the perceived inevitable failure of Stadia might not be as imminent as some people think. Case closed. You ain't paid attention to a damn thing going on besides what you wanted to. This is why I don't trust these journalists. And this goes beyond Stadia. Stadia was just a catalyst in helping me understand how bad these journalists were. I've seen articles about PlayStation, about Xbox, about everything now that I've had to second guess, and I've had to go back to people and say, is that right? And find out that it ain't. Because this is just a copy-paste society. It's more egregious with Stadia, but it's a copy-paste journal society. And they don't research anything because they're under the gun, under the pressure to get clicks, get clicks, get clicks. And as I expose in our members' content, there's some of those that we're very familiar with that have some of the most egregious practices. But you got to go there to check it out. I ain't gonna say nothing in public. Right? But I'm a fool. MM2K's a fool. But this came from GameIndustry.biz. The continued promotion of these features, the new wave of incentives to get more developers on board as pro partners, and the 85-15 revenue share lasting until 2023 suggests that the perceived inevitable failure of Stadia might not be as imminent as some people think. What do y'all think? Let's get y'all final comments, and then I got to close out and go take care of my wife. Let's get these last comments. Capcom bringing MH to, I don't know what that, Street Fighter will make me a believer in their support of Stadia. I think that we're going to see that in the future. But it takes time for these relationships to develop. Like Bethesda's relationship with Xbox, that took time to develop. Xbox really catered to Oblivion when it came, right? When that came out. And then they were really interested in Fallout 3 when that was released. So it takes time for these things to come to fruition. But I think beyond Ubisoft, I think what Google's trying to do is build relationship with Capcom. And I think this is great. In a year where we're like in a situation where DLC wasn't coming or whatever, them announcing it right now is great news. All right. Is Dude Games Live that journal? Oh, stop it. Yes, Division 2 is a live service game. Single player is usually a one-time play. I mean, that's a good point. But look, the games that hold on. But the games that he talked about, look at those. Those are all service games. Opposite of Sekiro, Outriders claim that they ain't a service game, but look, they're coming with a big pack. These are all service games. So all those old AAAs, wisely, they're service games. And that's an interesting point. I'm glad you brought, I never thought about that. If you think about the majority of Stadia's AAAs that they got, they're service games. I never thought about that. And a lot of the games that we see recently, and a lot of the AAAs that we see aren't service games, meaning that they don't have I get it now. I think Ron Slusher discovered something. I think Ron Slusher discovered something. We gotta look into this. Most of the games, but see, that's why I hope Stadia gets Dying Light 2, because Dying Light 2 has a 5-year plan. That makes sense. I hope they get Dying Light 2 that has a 5-year plan. Saints Row, that would make sense too, because that's a service game. Most of the AAA games that Stadia gets that's day and date are service games, or get close to date, or service games. Let's look at that. Let's examine that before we, write it off as that. Oh, you want to get out, Kitty? Okay, hold on. Here I come, Kitty. Hold on. I know. I'm sorry. Here I come. Next time, don't bring your ass in here. All right. Can't go in there with mommy. Can't go in there with mommy. Want to come back? Come on in. Now it makes sense. Now I get it. That is huge. We're going to check that out. But you see that? Let me throw that up there one more time, Tommy. Those are service games. Doom had 3 parts coming to it, right? And they had multiplayer, even though, I think the multiplayer ain't, right? Doesn't Doom Eternal have multiplayer? Even though I don't think the multiplayer or the online part of it is there. But most of these games are service games. Really, the only game that isn't a service game, which was the biggest game, was Cyberpunk. But that game just had so much anticipation behind it, they had to get that one. So that makes sense. And you haven't had a lot of service games out recently. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, that's not a service game. So, okay. Dying Light 2, they said they got a 5-year plan. Now they're coming out with the 5-year plan, or the extensions to the 5-year plan recently. Maybe that's coming out this year. Who knows? I don't know. And so forth and so forth. So it looks like if they're going to invest in these big ticket games, that they're looking to invest in service type games. That's where Madden, FIFA makes sense as well. Even though they're not getting Madden day and date. Maybe they'll pick that up. Maybe Madden comes later, Hopefully they still get FIFA and they get that day and date. We'll see. You know what I mean? There's rumors around that. But now, okay. Now we're starting to, get even more. That's why we do the things that we do on this platform. Now we're starting to get maybe a little bit better understanding of what they're looking for and why it's important. And I get that they may curate things a certain way, but there might be things out of their recipe that we got to speak up about. So that's why I'm not against people speaking up too. It's just don't attach false narratives to it like here. Because I'm a fanboy, right? For just following the PR speak. But meanwhile, your colleagues that look, I'm just going to tell, there ain't no other way to say it but to say it. They do a lot better job than you do. GameIndustry.biz is bigger than some Corey Davenport or Corbin. I forgot his damn name. You know what I'm saying? GameIndustry.biz is bigger than Corbin, right? Right. So, cool stuff. All right. Is that my brother here? Check out my brother. Happy Tuesday, Jack the Slip. What's going on, man? What's going on, Jack? How things going at the website, man? Brothers, they killing it over there. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Jack the Slip. Yep, ESO is missing from that list. Yep, absolutely. Does that geek to sneak? I said, I think we can all agree that Stadia needs more AAA games. Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Yeah. All right, with that said, people, I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for your help. Thank you so much for your support, all that great stuff. Go to StadiaDosage.com. Check out all the great articles we got there. And, it's fantastic stuff, okay? All right. And until next time, and go check out this Outcasters tournament. Let's see if it's still going. We have a link to the tournament. Well, go check it out if it's still going. And until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.